Even more live shows with Adam Carolla at the end of this month in Bellflower, California. 2 shows at the Stand-Up Comedy Club on May 24th. Then on May 30th, he travels up to Washington for 4 shows at the Tacoma Comedy Club in Tacoma, May 30th and 31st. Then off to Spokane, Washington at the Spokane Comedy Club on June 1st. Tickets for these and more at adamcarolla.com. He's so smart, his brain is called the Golden Dome. Adam Carolla.
Yeah, get it on. Got to get it in a church, get it a mandate. Get it on. What did we say? Kentucky Fried Zucker, most famously from Airplane and Police Squad and all this great Naked Gun and all that stuff. All great. But Kentucky Fried Movie is great because a lot of people haven't seen it. And it was maybe their most interesting project. Not linear like Airplane was, but like vignettes. You ever see that?
Sort of tied together. It was like I was aware of it, and I think I saw parts of it, but I think I was too young to sit down and watch it through and through. But I remember knowing stuff.
I literally memorized the entire movie. I was so hardcore that Police Squad was a TV series before it was a movie, before Naked Gun and all that.
Yeah.
And they just had like an 8-episode run, and then it got canceled. And I don't even know if what it was on. I don't know if it was on a network or Fox or I would be curious what Police Squad, the TV show, what network it was on. But they did 8, and that went away. And I literally went down to the Odyssey video store in North Hollywood and rented a cassette that had the 8 episodes on it and just watched the TV shows like in the 80s.
Huh. Very Naked Gun-ish though, right?
Talking about Frank Drebin, right?
Yeah, it was the same. It was the TV show that made the movie, but it was the same joke, same guys, same people.
So it was a cult renaissance, is what you're saying? That was one of those first movies that
it was clear. Okay, so hold on. Kentucky Fried Movie was directed by John Landis, by the way, which I sort of forgot about, but it had a big director attached to it, and it was everybody at their infancy, like everyone young, before they had it all worked out.
Big actors though, the guys that became big actors, or
there were some names in it, but it was mainly the vignettes. I'll play one I like the best, which is called Cleopatra Schwartz. Now they were just doing a send up of Cleopatra Jones, like black exploitation 70s Big Mama kicking ass, but this was Cleopatra Schwartz. So, but you have to listen to the writing of it. That's I think we're having a little.
She was 6 feet of black dynamite. He was a short Hasidic Jew. She fought a savage battle to stay alive in the ghetto. He studied the Talmud at night.
Hey, the machine gun was the best.
I love Samuel L. Bronkowitz. And I love the never before, never again will the screen see. It was perfect.
Yeah.
And that's all Kentucky Fried Movie was. Just some titties, some short form stuff. They did Fistful of Yen. They did a big karate thing that was sort of long running. But it was funny. Police Squad was on ABC, and it lasted 1 season, and then that was it. But it was good in that. It was probably a little ahead of its time, a little too hip for the room. Made it 1 season, got canceled. They were looking for sitcoms. They ABC probably thought this was an experiment that didn't work out. But the guys who made it went, we still have something here.
Right.
Let's just make it into a film.
Yeah.
And then the rest is history.
Yeah, it's like Apatow with the thing that didn't he have that show?
Freaks and Geeks.
Yeah. The one,
Judd.
1 season, then he spun it into a bunch of stuff.
Yeah, a good idea is a good idea. Sometimes it's a little before its time.
Yeah. It's like proof of concept. The TV show showed filmmakers that, hey, this is a viable IP.
I was going to say I have some bits, that I couldn't get to work for years, and then I remembered I still can't get him to work.
The end. The stand-up special, by the way, The Champ, is out as we speak. It's on YouTube. Nate Bargatze was involved with this one. I think it's on his platform.
Yeah.
I don't know we call it that. How'd the whole Nate Bargatze thing come about?
Well, I've known him for a while, and a couple years ago, maybe about 4 or 5 years ago, he said, I'm going to start doing producing comedy specials, podcasts, and now movies that are like you can watch with your kids or whatever.
Right.
And we had something in the works. My last special that I came in here, and you and I talked peanut butter for a long time, but
We only talked peanut butter for like 55 minutes.
I know, which was not enough in my book. My last special was all about peanut butter, and so Nate, the production company, went to him and was like, "Hey, Greg's working on something." He's like, "Yeah, I know, Greg. This is perfect." And that one really worked out, and this one so far so good. So
Yeah. Yeah, I remember a lot of the beats from our last peanut butter discussion. It was 2 years old, but it's still burning fresh in my mind.
it's very positive stuff. You know, it's I didn't know you were an enthusiast.
The thing about me is I'm not really an enthusiast about anything, but if you bring something up, I'll do an hour.
Yeah.
A connoisseur.
I don't know what it is about me, but I can dig in. I remember one time Jimmy said to some writer, the guy who was writing Late Night Wars or something, and the guy was like, we're working on Jimmy's late night show, like in the first season or something. And Jimmy said to the guy said, well, what about Adam Carolla? Like, what's he doing here? Or something like that. I was writing on it. We just left the Man Show, and then I just went there. And Jimmy said to the guy, he goes, just go up and talk to Adam about anything. Just you bring up anything.
Yeah.
And you bring it up, and then he'll do 20 minutes on it.
Really?
Whatever it
Yeah.
is. And he didn't tell me. And so I was in the elevator with this guy. He gets on, and he looks at my cup, and he sees the stir in it. And he goes, what's up with the stir? And I do 20 minutes on the stir. Yeah, on the stir.
Not the cup.
The stir.
Not the full experience, just the stir.
The twizzle stick. Yeah. Now, I didn't know he was setting me up, and I know Jimmy had set
This
him
is
up. But then I
outstanding.
realized when we were done, he's like, you just did 20 minutes on a stir stick. And I was like, yeah, well, you asked me about it. And then he went, that's what Jimmy was talking about. And
Yeah.
I said, what does he mean? He set me up. But
I think it could have gone way more narrow than the stirrer. Yeah, it was just too broad of a topic.
Yeah, too broad. Well, you know, my argument with the stir stick was the old stir sticks were hollow, had two little hollow holes on both sides.
Like a double barrel shotgun.
Yeah, and they were like, but for a dwarf, right?
Yeah, well.
And could be used as a straw technically, but not really. Like your
It's not a good
eyeballs would come
experience.
out, your ears would pop if you tried to suck on it.
Yeah.
But why put it out there? Like, how many people tried to get a suck off it, got frustrated, got lightheaded, and then realized? My whole thing was, don't make it hollow. Don't give it the straw effect if you don't want people sucking on it.
And I bet you in the boardroom at that time, everybody was same ideas. There's one guy who had some stake in the business. So he's like, no, guys, there's just if we get the straw, the suck market as well. We're golden on this.
I think they're trying to save a little money on materials because it cannot be. You can try to use. Has anyone tried to suck off that thing?
Yeah, man. Yeah,
I think everyone at one time.
yeah, especially as a child.
Yeah, it seems. It beckons you because it's hollow.
Yeah.
and it's saying, "Please come here." It's the siren song of suck. Come suck on me.
Yeah,
come on, boy.
I
Suck your
think
brains
the more
out.
accurate question would be: has anybody not tried? If you have one of those in a drink, you're gonna give it a whirl.
You got to give it a whirl
gotta.
because it's hollow.
Right.
Right.
But you're saying, and I think it's an interesting point, is it's less material.
Yes.
In the end, because that's a high volume business right there.
You got to make more than 10 of those a year if you want to stay in
If
business.
you want to stay in business, man, you don't hit the profit mark until you get to the 7 billionth straw.
Right.
And he's like, hey, we could probably start clearing profit at 4 billion if we take this amount of plastic out.
Well, not only that, less materials, but also shipping.
It's a ship. It is.
It adds up.
It's lower weight. It's the same cube.
Right.
When you're filling out a truck, it's the
Right.
same, it occupies the same volume, but
You
it's a
know
lower
from the
weight
peanut
cube.
butter days about the cubes.
I know about cube. Yeah, yeah.
Now you like, okay, let me see if I can refresh my memory here.
Yeah.
But it's a 2-year-old peanut butter conversation.
Yeah.
Obviously, the Laura Scudder's natural stuff, the stuff you got to stir, the stuff you got to put upside down in the closet, the stuff where the oil rises to the bottom or the top, depending on it. That's a no-fly zone for you.
Yeah, I mean, for several reasons.
I know, I get it. It's kind of one of the things. I think it's one of the things that makes us ugly Americans, which is the purest form of this is not the one we prefer.
No, and it also requires
work.
Yeah, I got to stir it.
Yeah.
Why don't you hand me a bag of peanuts and a hammer next time? I'll just smash them up myself.
Right. Yeah, roasting oven and a big chunk of sea salt.
I'm the eater. You're the maker.
Yeah, make it.
Deal. Yeah, make the stuff.
Yeah, so you like the Skippy, the Peter Pan.
Skippy, easy.
Sorry, Peter
easy.
Pan.
No.
Shit. Let's see.
Somehow the category leader escapes you.
Jif. Sorry, you like the Jif. You like the Jif. Now, to the untrained palate,
right,
who grew up with only the Laura Scudders or the actual raw version of it,
hippies is what you're talking about.
Hippies,
people that smoke
loathsome, lazy hippies who raised me. The Jif and the Peter Pan. They all kind of taste the same to me. And Skippy, I can't tell the difference. They all feel synthesized, delightful, but synthesized.
Yeah, it's
there's a difference.
George Washington Carver is rolling in his grave.
Yeah,
didn't invent peanut butter.
Didn't invent it.
Did not invent peanut butter.
Andros Straub did.
Yeah,
I tried.
Sorry.
Yeah, but of course, he did a lot of crazy things with peanuts, but he did not invent peanut butter. But you know who invented peanut butter was Kellogg, who had some really strange ideas about
life.
Very, very strange ideas.
Yeah.
Basically, he thought that people were obsessed with sex,
Masturbating.
There you go.
Yeah.
Anti-masturbation.
Yes.
Yeah.
And the way to avoid that sort of thing was to eat bland food.
That's right.
Yeah.
That was this. Yeah.
Cornflakes.
Man, you know a lot. That's a deep one, man.
Well,
obscure.
so and you like creamy.
You know, I'm not opposed to crunchy.
Right.
And it's 4-1. Not Adam. I've been out of the business for a while. These
sales were 4-1 creamy to crunchy.
These are 99 numbers. Was
right.
4-1 creamy to crunchy. They don't give me the data anymore.
Really?
I could get it.
Yeah,
I could get it.
Maybe during the break you make a call.
I got Brazzi. Brazzi runs Smuckers now.
Your man?
He's a guy. He runs.
Okay.
I could call Brazzi.
Text
probably
him,
get you guys some stuff.
I want to get some data.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I agree with you. It's 1,000 times better. Your form of peanut butter than the natural form of peanut butter.
I think the most interesting thing that I learned from you, and trust me, I know a lot about peanut butter, when I was in last time, was you said that it's a sandwich that improves with time.
It's the only sandwich that improves with time.
Yeah.
Because tuna salad and turkey, they diminish. Meatball starts falling off a cliff. Meatball cannot support its own weight at a certain point. It becomes like 7-hour-old nachos. At some point, they can't. You got to get a wooden spoon out because it cannot. You can't have a food that can't support its own ingredients.
That's right, man.
And that's what happens with the meatball. You hold it up, you got the meatball at the end, it just flops over like a
short
limp dick.
window with meatball.
Small window. Peanut butter actually benefits from sitting on the floor of a school bus for 45 minutes. It's the only sandwich that does better.
I think the term you used last time I was in here, and it stuck with it, is emulsification.
Emulsification. Yeah, the bread gets a little of the oil, and it gets a little of the sugar water from the jelly, and it just becomes better.
Yeah. Man, it really struck me when you said that.
Yeah.
And I thought I knew.
Stayed with you.
I thought I knew everything about.
Yeah, that's the thing about me. People think they're experts on Twizzle sticks.
Oh yeah.
Opening world.
I got a couple of guys I knew who are in the Twizzle business. They're going to learn a few things.
Opening eyes. That's all I do. All right, so. So Nate, you know Nate.
Yeah.
Nate's doing the family-friendly thing, crushing it.
Yeah.
Have you thought about a dry bar? Just a couple of dry bar specials.
Yeah.
Oh, you did.
No, you've done a couple, right? I did one a while back, and it was great. I didn't think much of it because I was early in the process, and I really.
How many years ago did you do your dry bar?
I'm gonna say 2017 or something.
Oh, so that was pretty early in their existence.
And I was working somewhere and wasn't really thinking about anything, and I woke up. I was working a cruise ship at the time, and I woke up. You're just removed from the world, and I had all these messages from like when we finally got to land where I could go on, and I got an email from this girl that said she had a crush on me in high school, and
really
she saw my dry
saw
bar.
the dry bar.
Yeah. It was it was really, really great, man.
Yeah, so moved the needle.
Yeah.
And
not with her, but
with Nate did Nate produce?
Yeah, he
stand-up?
produced it. Yeah.
Where'd you shoot it?
We shot it at the Columbus Funny Bone, which has a bit of a theater look to it on film. It's high ceilings and it's got a balcony and that sort of thing. And let me ask you this, man. I know just to test your thing, you can talk a lot about any subject. Do you have any feelings on barbecue?
Yeah.
Because I talk a little bit about that, and I wanted to get your take on one thing.
Yeah.
You go to a barbecue restaurant, right? And I'm a fan. I go every town I've ever been. I've at least check it out.
You gotta go find the barbecue.
Yeah. My problem with the business model is it seems like it's the one.
Can I say this real quickly?
Sure.
Barbecue for a guy, middle-aged guy, especially if you're trying to, watch your weight a little bit. It's kind of like finding a whore in that. If you do it in your hometown, it makes you kind of a pig. But if you're on the road, it's really no big deal. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like your wife would frown, your neighbors, your community would frown on you whoring in the neighborhood.
I see.
But when you're in Memphis,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? You're working.
Do you
you
have
got the day free.
Do you have a radius on this at all?
Yeah, it's about anytime the time changes or even the weather. Right. That's basically it. So if you want to go to Malibu and whore, that's fine.
Okay.
I'm saying,
and that's with both your
it
examples.
doesn't feel as naughty like when you're in Tennessee and it's noon on a Saturday and you got a show that night. And you just got a big barbecue platter in front of you. You don't feel bad. You feel like, come on, I'm in Tennessee. If you did that at home, you'd kind of feel
kind of animal.
You'd go like, come on, man,
monster.
Yeah. Have a shake.
Yeah.
Right. So whoring and barbecue, but go ahead.
My problem is it's the one business where it seems like it's just fine for them to not have the stuff that they say they're going to have. It's almost a point of pride.
Yes, they love being out of brisket.
Yeah. And then I see the sign behind you. It says we've been around since 1974. I would think in that time frame you would have gotten a little better handle on the demand for your product.
Right. You would have worked out the brisket conundrum in all those years.
Some forecasting.
Yeah.
Some level of forecasting.
Now they love telling you they're out of stuff because
Billy, you want some ribs at 1:45 in the afternoon? We hadn't ribs since 11:05. They line up. You want some? You got to line up.
Yeah. No. Okay. I got a couple thoughts. One is, I like the big beef ribs better than the small baby backs or the shorter, whatever, the smaller pork ones, but they're in demand out here. They're hard to find the
once
big
a
ones.
week.
They're hard to find the big ones.
You can get them
here
on Sundays or something.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, once a week.
Got to get in line.
Yeah.
Also, brisket is... There's a lot of room for error in brisket. You can fuck up brisket. It's hard to fuck up a big beef rib. And it's hard to fuck up chicken, but you can fuck up brisket.
Yeah,
so you got to be careful.
That's how I judge a place. Is the brisket good?
Yes.
Yeah.
And because the ribs are always going to be good and the chicken's almost always good. Also, don't get fancy with the coleslaw. Don't add walnuts or golden raisins or any shit like that. I don't want you to add love. How about that? I just want old school. Your job in the coleslaw department is to do Kentucky Fried Chicken coleslaw.
Just replicate it.
But step it up a little
I see what you're saying.
with the quality because they have to make it in 2,000 pound vats.
Right.
You know what I mean? You do your version, but don't stray. It should look the same. You know what I mean? Real sweet, real creamy. Don't do the vinegar coleslaw. I don't want it to be that tangy. I want to be a little sweet, little tangy. No adding anything other than the slaw.
I see what you're saying.
That's that.
Yeah.
Baked beans, awesome. Cornbread. I don't know. Has anyone ever had a bad piece of cornbread?
No,
Can you ruin cornbread? I don't
also
feel like you can ruin cornbread.
It's about time we just called it cake. You're having a slice of cake, man.
It is.
It's a piece of cake, and it's outstanding.
Everyone got fat because this country had a muffin phase where we're like, I'm not eating a donut. I'm eating a healthy breakfast. It's a chocolate and cherry and cheese muffin. That's the size of my head.
Yeah.
It's the size of Brock Lesnar's head, and it's a muffin, but it's for breakfast. That's what you have for breakfast. You're eating a pound cake for breakfast. You know, your liver just sees sugar and carbs. Sugar and carbs. What are you talking about? It's a muffin. You want to know why why America got morbidly obese between 1996 and 2009? Muffins.
Muffins, yeah.
People think they're eating a healthy breakfast by eating a muffin, which is a big muffin is like 2 slices of cake. And there is no difference between your lemon poppy seed sugary muffin and a piece of lemon cake.
No, it's not. It's
just cake
other
in a
than
different
the muffin
shape.
may be bigger, like you said. The muffin there may be more.
There may be more carbs and more calories to the muffin.
And the thing is, I just thought of that. You're right. That was a rough time, the 96 through early 2000s, you said. And that came right after you remember the Snackwells, those no fat in the cookie.
There's zero
no fat in the cookie.
Now
I bought into that for a while.
No, they did it with chips. They did it with the Snackwells. What they did is they went, look, in a cookie or in the chips or whatever it is you're eating, it's basically carbs, it's sugar, and it's oil. You know what I mean? So then Snackwells went, what if we just remove the one ingredient that satiates and leave the 2 that make you fat? And they go, okay, then I'll eat 28 Snackwells.
Yeah, man.
And everyone's just getting fat off of Snackwells because the oil is what satiates. It's the oil part of the chip. You could eat a pillowcase of those puffed chips and you never go, I'm satiated.
Yeah.
So it was kind of diabolical. They got rid of the ingredient that made you stop.
They got me for about 2.5 years. I think I went on it. I'm like, no, it's like, no, this is what you're supposed to do, man. It says no fat.
It's interesting. I mean, we're living in times where we're talking about fake news and deep fakes and all this kind of stuff. Though I remember my poor grandfather, Hungarian grandfather, when he was older, all he wanted was a nice poached egg for breakfast, but it was always an argument. Like, okay, once a week, then we'll do the toast and we'll put the margarine on it. So be healthy. We can't do butter. So he was just miserable eating shit when he should have just had an egg with real butter and real toast, you know, but we deprived everyone all this stuff and it was worse for them.
That hurts now that because he's not around anymore, you're saying.
No, he's 141. No, it's Laszlo Gorog, my step-grandfather.
So he couldn't, once we figured it out, it was too late and he couldn't get his egg.
Yeah, he was gone before someone figured out that margarine was bad for you and that butter was actually good for you.
Yeah, man, there was a lot of TV commercials about how margarine was better for you. I remember that.
It was a propaganda campaign. I don't know how it really worked on America. I guess we didn't have the data. Yeah,
I'll tell you the first thing they did. They put the margarine in a container you could reuse. Whereas butter, all you have is a greasy wrapper when you were done.
Yeah.
But the margarine came in a container with a snap lid.
Tupperware kind of thing.
And it was Tupperware back when Tupperware was something. Yeah. You know what I mean?
They were having parties, right?
They're throwing parties for Tupperware. There's like a secret knock. It's like a speakeasy. Big black guy in a turtleneck with a clicker standing out front. All right, Marge, go ahead, but I'm watching you. Hand me your backpack. Let me just check it out. Okay, go ahead. Walk through the metal detector. Go ahead. All right, go ahead. So let me wand you down real quick. It was a Tupperware party. Stuff was expensive. My mom did not own Tupperware. It was like a bridge too far financially.
Mine too. And I'm so proud of my mom that she never fell for all that garbage. Man.
My mom, no Tupperware, too expensive, out of reach. My dad, separate house, no Tupperware, out of reach. My grandmother, one piece of Tupperware. she guarded with her life. She's like, would not let it out of the house. And it was like, well, the idea is Grandpa's going to put some goulash in here and I'm going to take it. It's like, not in that Tupperware. Not that.
Yeah. Not unless you want a knife in the.
Yeah, at the door. So, but the margarine came in a container that had a snap lid on it. Yeah. And to all the poor dumb people, that's like win-win. Because when we're done with this margarine, we can put whatever leftover soup or whatever we need in this and snap the lid on it. Yeah. We have de facto Tupperware minus the party.
With no party.
No party.
Yeah.
But we got the Tupperware. No pomp and circumstance like the party.
I think I remember a commercial where you
spoke.
It did.
He'd pull it up and go, butter, margarine. Yeah. You're margarine. Yeah, they'd have arguments over it.
It did. It spoke, didn't it? Yeah.
I'll tell you where they lost me, where Big Margarine lost me. They used to do these commercials. I kind of miss them, where they'd have these supermarket challenges, Coke, Pepsi, and all that stuff. And they'd take a soda cracker and they'd put margarine on it, and then they put butter, like on the other one.
Yeah.
It was Parquet. Oh, Deacon Jones did. Oh, yeah, Deacon Jones did. So, okay, let me just say, you can find this commercial too, but they put this table out, and they put butter on one cracker and margarine on the other, and they'd have people stop by, and they'd go, would you want to try? And they taste it, and they go, this one tastes more like butter. And they're like, that's the margarine. And even though I was 9, I thought, you're not asking which margarine tastes more like butter. You're saying this margarine tastes more like butter, but you're handing them butter. Like, how can you taste more like something than what is? Do you see what I'm saying? Like, what if they did that with pussy?
I see what you're saying, but as somebody that was in the consumer products business, I want to make sure I understand. You're saying that you felt that this company that was around for a very long time was misleading people on purpose?
I say selective editing. All right, Deacon Jones.
Oh, yeah.
Is doing a commercial, and he's wearing a Chargers jersey, so he must have got traded at the end of his career.
Butter. What? Butter.
What?
Butter.
Don't mess with me. You're Parquet margarine.
Butter.
I said Parquet, come here.
Uh-oh.
You smooth. You're creamy. You taste like butter. You're butter.
Parquet.
Yeah, that was a tagline. Yeah.
Sir?
Parquet margarine from Kraft. The flavor says.
Butter.
Man, Deacon Jones had a run, didn't he, of those commercials?
Oh.
Miller Lite commercials and stuff. That guy was making...
No. Well, you may have not heard the greatest Deacon Jones clip of all time.
I don't think I have.
Oh, no.
I wasn't going to go here, but as long as you're going to set it up.
I wasn't aware of this.
There is the greatest Deacon Jones clip of all time. It may be the greatest NFL package of all time. And I found it. And it'd been around for 25 years, but no one said a word. And then I found it, and then I started talking about it. And then they edited it, but we found the unedited version, which is from someone's TV, because it's gone. You can't find it on the internet anymore. The NFL got rid of this. But it ran this way for 25 years before somebody figured out maybe we should do a little edit on this. Play the clip.
Atkins' threat of breaking arms was the reality of the Deacon Jones head slap.
The head slap was to do two purposes. One was to give myself an initial head start on the pass rush. In other words, an extra step. Because anytime you go upside a man's head or a woman, then they have a tendency to blink their eyes or close their eyes.
All right. He included women in the strong side tackle. I love that clip.
I wonder if he was like instructed to be like, you have to. I wonder if he's doing it for like you can't just say man because man is only have to. You got to. You use program to be like you have to be all inclusive and and somebody's like. Not always, Steve.
Not always. Not always. Unless there's some weak side tackles in the NFL that are female that I'm unaware of, Deacon. Yeah. But if nobody's starting in the league, in the league's 75-year history, there's never been a woman starting at offensive tackle. So,
yeah.
They didn't edit it.
I don't even think really in the high schools either.
Even at the high school level, not a lot of ladies out there.
I'm gonna choose.
They didn't edit it.
They did not.
It was a super easy edit because you just cut to game footage. You go, anytime we go upside a man's head,
and then
cut to him slapping a guy in the head.
Yeah. You're right.
Whacking Conrad Dobler in the head.
Yeah. Who was a dirty player.
That's why you whack him in the head.
A very dirty player, Conrad Dobler. I was from my hometown. I'm proud.
Oh, you know Conrad Dobler.
Well, I don't know him, but I was a St. Louis Cardinal fan growing up, and that line was outstanding.
All right, you whack Dan Deerdorf in the head.
Fine, Deerdorf, Bob Young. Bob Young would have whacked you right back.
That's right.
Yeah, that's. I cannot believe that exists. That is
not only exists, they just ran that for 25 years, and nobody said a word. And I was just sitting home late night having a glass of wine, watching my TV football channel, and I go, okay, here comes the Deacon Jones package. I'm up for it.
Yeah,
I love all the footage. Way. And he just said, oh, a woman. And I was like, oh, man. And I came in the next day on the radio and I did an hour on it. It's the greatest clip ever, right?
Yeah, I just think I'm going to choose to think that he had never hit a woman in the head, that he just was programmed to say, hey, man, you can't always make it about men. You have to include women. You know,
I was picturing a woman in an entry hall standing in front of the door going, you're not going anywhere, Deacon, and him doing the swim move. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
To get out to the driveway.
I pray to God it didn't happen. And I mean, from everything I know about him, it didn't. But how did you find that, man? That is...
I realized there's a lot of life that sort of flies under the radar, and people do sort of autofill where they just kind of like, and he's talking about hitting. They don't stop and go, what is he talking about? Why? It was sort of like when they did that whole Trump thing, good people on both sides, that whole bullshit they did, that they cooked the video, but he did say both sides. He said good people on both sides. Yeah, all right, so he's good neo-Nazis and good hippies that protest. Like he said both sides. So why does that mean both sides? Like why are you not factoring that in? It's weird things just sort of like if you said St. Louis Cardinals, you like them, and I like the Pittsburgh Steelers, and then I said, well, there's good players on both teams. And you go, why are you making fun of the Cardinals? I'd be like, well, I said both teams.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not sure I'm with you. I mean, yeah.
Well, they cooked that video because he said, I'm not talking about neo-Nazis and blah, blah, blah. Like, he did it. He said, I'm not talking about neo-Nazis because I don't condone that.
Okay.
Yeah, we can find that. But they cut that part out, and they just go both sides. But still, if you're siding with the neo-Nazis, why say both sides?
Right.
But they cooked it. That's why they did it.
Yeah, it was disingenuous.
Yeah, he stopped and he goes, I'm not talking about neo-Nazis because they should be condemned.
He did say that.
Yeah, just CNN just lopped that part off and put. They did the editing that the NFL Network should have done on the Deacon Jones tape, which is just. It's easy. He just goes, anytime we go upside a man's head, cut. Game footage.
As somebody that you've been in television and stuff like that, there's a lot of options to go to in that situation. Sometimes I just got through editing a stand-up special. Sometimes like we don't have another shot here. They always have another shot because there's game footage, is what you're saying.
Yeah, like there's certain okay. When you do edits in movies and films or whatever you do, TV shows or whatever, there's something called coverage.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's like if you started doing a joke and you kind of flubbed it and they wanted to connect it to the second show where you did it cleaner, but the first part was better on the first show, they'd go cut to the audience.
Yeah.
Audience laughing. Yeah. Cut back on you after the edit.
Yeah.
Finish the joke. So there's just little creative ways of B-rolling it and stringing stuff together, and it's all part of the process. But when you're interspersing game film with a sit-down interview, it's the easiest ever because you just cut and go to the game film.
There's always game film.
No one's going to cry foul. We're already watching him do the head slap. All right, Dawson, you can find the good people on both sides with the not talking about neo-Nazis one, which is funny, but it's also interesting that the way the media works, depending on what media you consume, you've never seen the part where he's like, "I'm not talking about neo-Nazis."
No, I don't think that's right.
Speech.
If they did cook it, I guess my point was my feeling when I saw this, and I was, I was a little charged up. I don't talk politics ever, but I was. I felt
he
like
talks peanut butter. Not
I do
politics.
talk peanut, which is it's honestly it's a tougher subject to deal with, and it's a more emotional subject.
That's right. It affects more Americans.
Yeah, I don't know. I felt like maybe he was like, why say anything good about any? Like even I felt like maybe you're pandering to that crowd a little bit.
Well, we'll play it. We'll play the clip. That should be pretty findable on the internet, and then you can see the sort of uncooked version of it, which is. It's the era we're in where we're just cooking videos. Sorry. All right, here it is. Just so you can see.
So you know what? It's fine. You're changing history. You're changing culture. And you had people, and I'm not talking about the neo-Nazis and the white nationalists, because they should be condemned totally. But you had many people in that group other than neo-Nazis and white nationalists, okay? And the press has treated them absolutely unfairly. Now, in the other group also, you had some fine people, but you also had troublemakers, and you see them come with the black outfits and with the helmets and with the baseball bats. You had a lot of bad people in the other group too.
Treated unfairly, sir. I'm sorry, I just didn't understand what you were saying. You were saying the press has treated white nationalists unfairly. I just didn't understand what you were saying.
No. There were people in that rally, and I looked the night before. If you look, there were people protesting very quietly the taking down of the statue of Robert E. Lee. I'm sure in that group there were some bad ones. The following day, it looked like they had some rough, bad people, neo-Nazis, white nationalists, whatever you want to call them. But you had a lot of people in that group that were there to innocently protest and very legally protest because, I don't know if you know, they had a permit. The other group didn't have a permit. So I only tell you this. There are two sides to a story. I thought what took place was a horrible moment for our country.
All right. So anyway, that's the full context of it. But CNN edited it.
Yeah.
And then they ran with it, and then it just became
more.
I
see your point. Yeah.
He was pretty clear about singling out the neo-Nazis. But CNN evidently is incapable. I don't know if they do news. It seemed pretty easy to decipher to me because he was real clear about it. But all right. So now on to bigger subjects. I was back here. I'm fascinated with people who have a name, who have a song or multiple songs or TV shows about them with their name in it, and they don't know what the fuck I'm talking about. It feels interesting to me. I had a producer on my radio show named Angie, and I would tell her, oh, like the Rolling Stones song, and she'd go, what?
Oh.
And I'd go, Angie, I don't know. I go, well, but you've heard it. It was a hit. It was like a #1 hit.
Yeah. No?
No.
Where'd you go next?
I go, well, first off, okay, listen, youngins, fuck you and your old card. Like, I'm not old like you. All right, Gettysburg Address, Hindenburg, Lusitania. It's all shit that happened before this guy was born. Yeah. I've heard of them. I've heard of it. You young girls love to play you're old and I don't know. Yeah, but you can hear of things that happened before you were born, right?
Sure.
I don't know, Civil War, things like these statues they were trying to tear down. That's shit that happened before.
Not familiar with any of it.
Yeah, so she tries to play the young card. I go, it's okay, not you, but didn't your dad ever go, Angie, or your uncle or somebody sing it to you, or an old boyfriend or something? Like,
no,
never heard of it. So I got Joe in the other room, young Joe, and I said, Ron, there was well, first I said, I played the song Run, Joey, Run.
I heard you guys talking about this in the prep meeting when I was in the green room, and that's the German Shepherd show.
Yeah.
Saturday morning.
Well, there's a song called Run, Joey, Run, and then there's a Saturday morning TV live action dog show called
Great
Run Joe Run.
Run Joe Run was a great show.
So he's like, I don't know what you're talking about. And I'm like, okay, let me show you what TV used to look like. And his mind was blown.
I'm interested to
I'll
see
play the
myself.
beginning.
This is
it's
awesome.
a German Shepherd. It's a good-looking dog.
Oh,
it's got a trainer.
Oh.
Stunt dog.
Listen to the music, man.
It's a German Shepherd who's wanted.
German Shepherd, black and tan, answers to the name of Joe, accused of attacking his trainer, Sergeant Will Corey. A crime he did not commit. Only Corey can prove him innocent, but he must find Joe before his pursuers track him down.
That's right, MPs. The military's coming after a rogue dog. By the way, pause it for a second. When you're describing a German Shepherd, it's like this one's black and tan.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, that narrows it down to the entire breed. Okay, can we get a little more specific? Does he have a scar in his ear? Something? It's a male German Shepherd.
This explains why maybe they never found him.
Yeah, because he looks like every single German Shepherd that's ever been born. And by the way, the male, the female doesn't help either in the German Shepherd department.
Just watching the promo for this, I had a thought that, do you think, like 20 years later, those guys that made the show Renegade with Lorenzo Lamas was like,
that's a fantastic.
We just sub in Lorenzo Lamas for the dog.
You are on to something now. You're on to something.
Sub in
Greg.
Lorenzo Lamas is nothing different.
Well,
just Lorenzo Lamas is the dog.
He attacked his trainer.
I'm going to tie a bunch of thoughts together.
Okay.
Before Lorenzo Lamas became a renegade, the A-Team came out.
Yeah.
And we'll play the rest of this, or go back 20 seconds or whatever. But I realize this show's from like 1973. This is the A-Team ripped them off.
No, the precursor.
Yeah, play it.
Before his pursuers track him down.
Ace, you're absolutely right with the music, too.
It's awesome.
I was sitting back watching my black and white Zenith at my mom's house, watching the shit out of Run Joe Run. All right, so then you play the beginning of the A-Team, and I think we're basically at the same place.
Yeah.
These guys are military, the dog's military, accused of a crime they didn't commit, on the run.
The entire premise.
It's the whole premise. Well, first off, I lived in L.A. my whole life. I was like, where's this underground they speak of? Because we got the L.A. River, but that's just a flume that takes garbage
These
to the
guys
beach.
aren't going to live in there, man.
No, they're in the underground. Where is this? I'm in the valley. I don't know where this underground is. Nobody has a basement.
You're not going to know.
And all the San Fernando Valley, there's 0 basements. So what is this underground? Everyone's on a slab.
Yeah.
Every building is on a slab. What is this underground they speak of? So then, Renegade.
Yeah.
See, Renegade had the same sort of premise flaw that the A-Team has, which is, now we can look at the beginning. The beginning of Renegade is very homoerotic, so just be prepared for that. It may cross some sensibility line for you, but it's Lorenzo at his best.
He was a cop and good at his job.
Good.
He committed the ultimate sin and testified against other cops
You don't
gone
do that.
bad. Cops that tried to kill him but got the woman he loved instead. Framed for murder, now he prowls the Badlands, an outlaw hunting outlaws, a bounty hunter, a renegade.
Yeah. Now, it starts getting pretty homoerotic in a few seconds here. It's Lorenzo at the height of his powers.
Yeah.
Oh, he's like pulling off a vest with no shirt under it. That's hard to do. He did it. At some point, he douses himself in tap water in a very homoerotic way. He rides a motorcycle. He's got hair down his waist.
Yeah.
Boots and silver spurs. Duster.
Oh, there you go. That's what you're
runs
saying.
in slow
Out of a
motion.
milk jug.
Yeah. All right, so let's just pause it for a second. Okay. So the A-Team and Lorenzo Lamas and Renegade, it's the same premise, which is they're underground.
Yeah.
They're one step ahead of the man.
Yeah.
They got in the A-Team. We got the military police nipping at their heels, always a step behind, but still right there, just trying to get them, right?
Yeah.
And then with Renegade, he's got the whole San Diego Police Department wants his ass, and the feds too. But he's a renegade. He's an outlaw. Okay.
He's got one friend.
I
think his name was Bobby Six Killer.
Yeah. He's the Indian guy.
Yeah. He had one friend.
Yeah, he's got one Indian friend. Okay. So really what the A-Team and what Renegade needs to do is they need to blend in.
Yeah.
But not drive a custom van with a black guy with 70 feet of anchor chain around his neck, because everyone in the neighborhood would be like, oh, you mean the 5 dudes who live together at the end of the cul-de-sac? You're talking about the custom van with the orange stripe on it, the guy driving the Corvette? Yeah, there's 5 middle-aged dudes. Yeah, I'll tell you where they live.
If they were anything, they were not understated, especially B.A.
You think anyone in that neighborhood missed B.A., Baracus? How could you miss Mr. T if he was anywhere near your neighborhood?
Yeah.
Everybody
outspoken.
I grew up in the valley. There are people. If a guy had an El Camino with rims on it, it'd be like, "Oh, Russ, I'll show you where he lives."
Yeah, he kept telling me to stop that jibber jabber.
Yeah, you couldn't not find it.
Yeah, man.
You know what I mean? This is no way to have a low profile.
You think they had a talk with him several times? Somebody was like, "Guys, again, you're not getting it. Like
we're trying to blend in. You should pop your collar, put on a ball cap, not take your shirt off.
Yeah, just not. Yeah."
We're trying to mix in with the gentry here.
What if we started with half the gold? Just half the gold.
And then Lorenzo Lamas.
Yeah.
First off, they have helmet laws.
Yeah.
He never wore a helmet.
No, he didn't.
He got pulled over 5 times a day if he just drove around L.A. with no helmet.
And then
then he's shirtless. He's on a hog. There's no baffles. There's no mufflers. There's they would spot cops. He wouldn't make it half a day without the cops pulling him over because he's on a motorcycle with no helmet, no sleeves, just making all the noise in the world.
And a noticeable guy.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah. I got to tell you, if I may, Lorenzo Lamas and Renegade was semi-responsible for me becoming a stand-up comic.
Oh, really?
I was I told you guys I was in sales. I sold GIF, but I also sold Sunny Delight. And we had
Sunny D.
Yeah, we had a big presentation with Kroger. It's a big grocery chain.
Yeah.
And we were going to sort of revamp the Sunny Delight business. This was a big, $1 million thing. And the night before I was watching Renegade.
What year is this?
This is 2000. I would say probably 2000.
So Sunny D's been around since the 70s.
Yeah, but
they're looking to
and we just
relaunch it.
Not relaunch. We're just saying, hey, you guys aren't. You could do so much more with this brand.
With Sunny D.
Yeah, you got it in the produce department, which maybe not the best idea. Maybe you put it with all the other orange drinks and the dairy. So I'm watching Renegade the night before this thing, and it was a 2-parter. At the end of the episode, they kill him. I mean, there is no doubt they kill off Lorenzo Lamas. Okay, and I'm like, what? They can't kill him. He's Renegade.
That's right.
So they go to be continued, and I'm like, I watched this thing. I saw him. There's no way he's out of this. And so we cut to the next day, and we're in the meeting room, and there's 5 of us prepping for the pitch to these guys.
Sunny D.
They were talking about Sunny D, and I kept drifting off. I was like, I mean, he's the Renegade. How are they going to have? How are they going to have? And then I realized maybe I'm not as dialed into this business as I should be.
Or you have something called priorities.
Yeah, you're right. You're right.
I defend you.
Okay, thanks, man.
Because I've done a lot of thinking about Renegade as well. Does that make me a bad guy?
No, it doesn't.
Am I bad dad all of a sudden?
No,
Would you not want me for a neighbor?
No, I'm not saying that.
I'm thinking about Renegade.
I just felt like maybe I wasn't. This was a big deal, and they were very excited about it, and I was mostly thinking about
shirtless Lorenzo Lamas.
But there's no way they can go on without him. It's called Renegade.
Wait, so what happened?
He got out of it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and I can't believe he did. I looked at it from 7 different ways, man, and there just wasn't a way out, and he got out of it. He didn't burn up in the fire.
Plot armor.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, but you didn't weave it into the pitch. Like the reason Sunny D needs to get out of the dairy section. It's like Lorenzo says in Renegade.
That's that's where I could have been something. That's why that would have taken me from middle management to the top.
Right.
But I did not have the presence of mind at that point. I was a younger guy. I was in my early 30s, and I wasn't at the top of my game.
No.
Today, if I did that, man. We're talking 8 foot top to bottom in the dairy.
Big display.
And caps.
Yeah. But that's when you knew, because of Renegade.
Yeah, I knew. I was like, I think maybe I'm not long for this job. And I had 10 years with the company. And,
I had the same thing, but I was walking down the aisle. Getting married, you know,
Really?
and I was just thinking about Lorenzo the whole time, and I thought, I don't know if this is right. I keep thinking about Lorenzo dumping water on himself in slow motion. Yeah, I got to be fair to myself and
you
to you.
do.
I got to be fair to you and me. I got to be fair to everybody.
This isn't fair to her at all.
It's not fair to you. I'm thinking about me thinking about Renegade all night.
Yeah. She's got a
We're
life
on a
to
honeymoon. You're thinking about kids. I'm thinking about Renegade. It's not fair to you.
No, it's not fair.
I respect you too much.
You're
because I like thinking about Renegade.
You're a bigger person.
Right.
Yeah.
You deserve someone who doesn't think about Renegade all the time.
It's one of the most unselfish things I've ever heard. Yeah.
But you don't want to be with someone who never thinks about Renegade, because I don't trust that guy.
It's a boring
I do
person.
not trust him.
Yeah. Then
you got to think about Renegade just the right amount.
Dead on the inside.
That's right.
Person. Yeah. You don't get revved up a little bit. There's a lot of stuff going on. He's a bounty hunter, man.
Also, A-Team, they roamed the L.A. Underground, and Renegade roamed the Badlands.
Yeah.
Which only Bruce Springsteen knows where the Badlands are. The rest of the people are like, I'm in Phoenix. Is that part of the Badland? No.
I think
is it adjacent?
It's about 7 miles in Dakota.
Is there part? There's some Badland.
Yeah.
Bruce Springsteen and Lorenzo Lamas know where the Badlands are, and Bruce also knows exactly where the edge of town is, because I don't know where that is. I just go from North Hollywood to Van Nuys. I'm not sure where the edge is.
Barstow.
Barstow's the edge?
No, that's the edge of the
Baker?
Yeah.
There we go.
Wherever the bun boy is.
Yeah.
Wherever
Alien beef jerky.
Wherever the giant thermometer was.
Yeah.
That would be the bun boy is gone.
Okay.
Whoever invented the bun boy acts like, well, you can't get hamburgers in Los Angeles, right? What do you mean? You can get a hamburger anywhere in Los Angeles. Yeah, but wait till you've been on the road for an hour and 51 minutes. Then you're really going to want a hamburger. It's like, disappointing. 75 bun boy, big signs, and then you stop and you get the bun boy, and it's like,
just a hamburger.
Yeah. Also, then there's a Great Greek or something.
I've seen that.
You'd eat there, super expensive Greek food, and then people would eat there and go, it's just okay. And it's like, they're serving up Greek food in a giant ashtray. We're literally, it's 120 degrees outside. Nothing can live. It's all scorched earth. Do you think we're on the Mediterranean here? Like, where do you think they get the seafood? Like, it's pretty good for being in the middle of a desert.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Not a lot of olive.
Not a lot of orchards. Yeah. And Zorba is not come around in a while. Zorba. Anthony Quinn's greatest role, by the way. Yeah, The Fugitive was the TV show that started the whole thing.
And that's before my time. And the movie was fantastic.
Great movie.
Still love it. But I'd like to put Fugitive up against Renegade, and I'd be real hard pressed to think I'm not picking Renegade.
Yeah, I love Renegade.
And Renegade then, because they started getting a little sexy with basic cable back then, and then it went right into
that like on TNT or something? USA.
And it went right into silk stockings. Which really pushed it, man. And I'm going to tell you, there's a couple of these girls that were undercover and working in the police department that were lookers.
Yeah, they usually have pigs, but this time they went with lookers.
Real lookers. Yeah. These girls that work for the police station, unbelievable. You'd think maybe just modeling or something, but no, these girls, they had a sense of duty.
I always thought, I talked to people, but I always felt like it was entrapment. Like, I talked to a guy once who called into to Loveline. He's like, I'm just a dude and I live in an apartment, and like a Saturday night I just went out to the liquor store to get a 6-pack, and I was like walking home, and this chick come up to me and was like, hey, Lonely? Yeah. Want a date? Okay. Slap the cuffs on him.
No way.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
that's
like
wrong.
it's like the guy was walking home. Like he wasn't out whoring.
Yeah.
Or at least his version of it was. But I mean, hey, if some hot chick's gonna walk up to you and start talking to you and then ask if you want some, most guys are just gonna go, fine.
Oh yeah.
You shouldn't be allowed to do that.
Suspicious at my age, but I'm immediately on her side if they come up.
Her side or his side?
Well, no, I'm on his side.
Yeah.
As far as the argument of he's that's not right.
I agree.
That's not right.
I'm totally
That sounds
with
like
you.
Some underfunded police department, or the city was like, go. Yeah, I don't know.
This was
somebody's running for DA.
It recently happened to an Olympic gold medalist.
A wrestler.
Yeah.
A wrestler.
A guy that I'm a big fan of.
Me too.
Yeah.
And they busted him. They jammed him up because
Did it happen like that?
He went to a Motel 6 and she pulled her badge out of her purse, I guess, and they busted him.
Yeah, that guy.
It's a shame.
I feel bad for that guy because he's a great wrestler.
Yeah, I know. I'm like, he's just getting the beach. Like,
met him once. A real good guy, and I don't know.
Well, I mean, what happened? He just met. I saw the story, but I didn't really delve into it.
Yeah, neither did I. Because
I'm depressed that you guys. I know me. There's not one piece of wrestling media that I don't consume. But it's out. You guys got it. Yeah, that's not
mainstream.
Him, I can see, but yeah, if you're knowing about this, then it's out there.
Only thing I wrestle with is my sexuality when I watch Renegade. Just for the opening of Renegade.
Big man to admit
I've been pinned. I've been pinned. Yeah, never tapped though. So yeah, it made it into the TMZ sphere or whatever it was. Well, who was the guy?
The guy's name's Kyle Snyder. He's a champion, man. He's
an Olympic guy.
Yeah, excellent wrestler.
And
the Olympic gold medalist at the age of like 20. And again, my limited interaction, nice guy.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, what is first off, what year is it? Like, aren't we kind of done with this? Hot police chick proposition up to the room or whatever? Like, doesn't it? Yeah. I don't know. He's a wrestler. You know what I mean? He's not a minister. Like, what's the...
Yeah, I mean, here's the thing, man. I think I'm such an idiot. If I knew if I knew she was a cop and she was that hot, I'd still probably go out and be like, hey,
really tough
she's a
position to
cop.
put a
This
man
is all
in.
a thing. I know, man, but she seems really attractive. Like,
I would too.
She's that hot.
I think she likes me.
Yeah.
Did he get in trouble because he was married or something like that? That's where the trouble comes in, right? Yeah. All right, let's take a break. You got the news, over there, Mayhem?
Yes, sir.
We'll take a break, do the news right after this. Homes.com. Some might say that Homes.com is the best home shopping site. It may be Homes.com's super comprehensive and transparent agent directory. Or maybe it's that Homes.com is the only site that always directly connects you with the listing agent who knows the home the best. Perhaps it's because Homes.com has the most in-depth neighborhood content of any home shopping site that's extensively researched to highlight the personality of each neighborhood. Homes.com goes above and beyond to bring home shoppers the in-depth info they need to find the right home. Homes.com. We've done your homework. Hims hair. Well, guys, if you're starting to notice your hair is thinning, when you look in the mirror, you're not alone. Life just gets busier and busier. It could feel like there's not enough time in the day to do something about it. So, try Hims Hair Loss Solutions. Hims provides you with convenient access to a range of hair loss treatments that work, all from the comfort of your own couch. No insurance is needed, and one low price covers everything from treatments to ongoing care. Hims has hundreds of thousands of trusted subscribers to help you get your confidence back too, with visibly thicker and fuller hair. So get that confidence, take care of yourself, and it's easy with Hims. Right, Dawson?
Start your free online visit today at hims.com/Adam. That's HIMS.com/Adam for your personalized hair loss treatment options. hims.com/Adam. Results vary based on studies of topical and oral minoxidil. Prescription products require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if a prescription is appropriate. Restrictions apply. See website for full details and important safety information.
One time I came downstairs and I go to the front desk. I'm like, hey, there's something wrong in my room. Can I talk to the manager? Sir, the manager does not work at night. Really? Because you guys are sort of in the business of night. Like, that is why you exist, primarily for the night. People come here for night stuff. You are a night business. Hotels and lighthouses. It's night. It's night.
Greg Warren is on the Adam Carolla Show.
The special is out, The Champ, as we speak. Very funny. It is on YouTube, and you can go by. Should we go by Nate Bargatze's website?
Just YouTube. Yeah, he's got a YouTube page, or just Greg Warren, The Champ. We'll get you there.
Also, let's see, what day is it? I'm going to be in Bellflower. First show is sold out on Saturday, but there's some tickets for the second show at the Stand-Up Comedy Club. And you're going to check that out if you want to come out and say hi. I'll say hi after the show. Also, the new vlog is out today, the Tour of the Palisades with Elaine, who I'll explain her. But I've been covering the Malibu fires, and now I got into the Palisades.
Oh, wow.
And it was with a guided tour, and it was even more devastating than Malibu, if you could imagine that. So it's pretty incredible footage. You may want to check that out. All right, Mayhem, what do we got?
Well, some bad news for California. No city cracks the top 100 of U.S. News' best places to live. Yeah, the top 10 best places to live: Johns Creek, Georgia; Carmel, Indiana; Pearland, Texas; Fisters, Indiana; Cary, North Carolina; League City, Texas; Apex, North Carolina.
I would imagine, I would imagine 20 years ago, certainly 40 years ago, there were 25 places in California that would have cracked that list.
Yeah.
And then what we did is we just undid it with bad policy. Nothing changed in terms of topography, the ocean and the mountains and all that is all there. We just undid it with super shitty policy, which made it difficult and got us right off that list.
And then some of the insurance companies pulling out probably.
Yeah, I mean, here's the thing, and I know, like, we probably differ on this, and there's two sides to this story. But here's my side of it, and it's more business or life or gravity than it is politics. But when, like, Gavin Newsom goes, the reason we're paying the most for gas, and I looked it up the other day, we're now paying more than Hawaii. California pays more than Hawaii, right? And then so you go, why are we paying more than Hawaii? They have to use tankers and bring it across the ocean to Hawaii, and it was always more expensive than us. And then Gavin Newsom goes, because the oil companies are gouging us. And I go, okay, that sounds good, except for why aren't they gouging everybody? Why are they constantly just gouging us, but not anybody else? It would make sense that if you're a big oil company, you would just gouge Texas and Arizona and Oregon, too. Why are we the ones who only, by the way, just us? Only state that gets gouged is us. How is this mathematically possible? And he says it's because of gouge, and then they look it up, and it's because it's too difficult to refine oil here. They've made it too difficult, so they're not going to do it. Now, so then you go, and oil companies are leaving, or they're not refining. They make it too difficult, is what I'm saying.
Okay.
But what I'm saying as it pertains to insurance companies, you go, oh, big oil, fuck them, big greedy oil. It's like, yeah, they're big greedy oil, but it's still $2.75 in other places.
I live in St. Louis. It's the cheapest gas in the country.
What is it? Ruin me. Tell me how much.
I mean, it's under $3.
Okay. All right. So big oil is somehow not evil in St. Louis, but it's evil in California. But I'm saying it's just big oil. So they want to make a profit. But they have a hard time making a profit in California because it's overregulated, so they just keep adding to their prices. Like they go, how come there's no affordable housing? Why is one single unit for a homeless guy's $800,000? You could build a mansion in Georgia. Yeah, we're overregulated. That's why they don't want it, but it costs that much because they've overregulated. Now, State Farm or whoever the insurance company, they're in the business of insuring places. They would like to make money selling insurance, and California's a pretty big market, but California does not take care of all these mitigating circumstances, of fire and stuff like that. They don't do a good job. So State Farm goes, we'd like to insure you because that's our business. Their business is like big oil is. We'd like to sell you gas for $3 a gallon, but you won't permit it. And you won't do what you have to do to make it hospitable for us. And we're going to lose money because there's going to be a big fire. So we're pulling out, or we're just going to charge an exorbitant amount. But State Farm does not have a bone to pick with just California, just like Chevron doesn't have a bone to pick with just California.
Right.
They made it so difficult to do business that these places pull out, and then we get angry at them for pulling out. But they just want to do business, and they'll leave.
I definitely follow the gas thing. The insurance thing, is it because of policy, or is it because it's just there's just more natural stuff going on out here that you know, with fires and floods?
Well, they don't think that, and I think it's been proven true that they're not mitigating. They're like, look, we need the forest thinned out. We need lots of stuff that you guys aren't doing. Right. I mean, look, if somebody said
mudslides, or
if somebody said, hey, Adam, I want you to insure that house up in the Malibu Hills, and I'd go, well, is there dry brush all around it and stuff? Yeah. Well, why don't they clear the brush? Well, there's the milk thistle. It's in danger.
I see what you're saying.
And I'd go, huh? And they go, well, what about the water? And they go, the Delta smelt's an issue. I'd go, okay, but I'm not going to insure the house then if you're not going to do this, because if it burns down, then I'm on the hook for $4 million. So I'm not.
I see what you're saying.
I'm not doing it, or I'll just charge $100,000 a month. Yeah, just fix it, because they want to do business. I mean, every business builders want to build, insurers want to insure, and
they do.
Oil companies want to sell oil.
Well, about the oil, is the refinement process overregulated so they cannot refine it here in the state?
But they do refine. Isn't all that stuff in
we make it onerous.
We just chased out Valero.
We chase people out because we make it too difficult.
Gotcha.
By the way, somehow California is in charge of the global environment. I think we're in charge somehow. Like we're going to affect India and China from Santa Monica and Long Beach. It's just us. Yeah. For some reason, they don't have to do it everywhere else. And then we chase them out. And then at some point, the politicians go, what's going on?
Yeah.
Like they do. You'll have a story with the film industry. It's like, hey, where'd you guys go?
Oh, that bothers me.
It's like, we left.
God, that bothers me so much, man. The
film industry, Chevron, State Farm, they're all the same. They're just an industry that left because you made it too difficult to do business. And you want to know what's wrong with them? It's not them, it's you. You chase them out. So get your shit together, and then they'll come back. All right, sorry.
No, let's jump right into that story that you referenced there. L.A. Mayor Karen Bass issues an executive order to keep jobs in Hollywood now.
They do this weird thing where they go, look, we got a little careless. We didn't keep our eye on the prize. No, you got super greedy.
Yeah.
You got super greedy, and the people you got super greedy with left. And they went somewhere else.
Taxing film production companies?
You made it so difficult to film here, like you did with gas, like you did with insurance. You made it so difficult that you chase these people out. Now, do they want to make films? Yes, they want to make films. They have to go to Hungary to make films, but they're making films. They want to make films, just like insurers want to insure and refineries want to refine. That's their business. You just chase them out. That's the difference.
Governor Gavin Newsom proposed a $750 million annual tax credit to keep jobs in L.A. and California, and Karen Bass' executive order is trying to support that.
Yeah, I think we have a video clip, it says on my screen, of what we're trying, of somebody talking about chasing people out. Little sound issue. Here we go.
Question is, will it be enough?
LA did not make it easy for us to shoot our movie.
Meet Austin James Wolfe.
You want to see the equation?
He wrote, produced, and starred in this film and was committed to shoot here in Los Angeles, his adopted hometown. But it wasn't easy.
Oh, you also have to pay a park monitor fee. You also have to pay a notification fee. And you also have to pay a film use fee. And I said, well, what about all the fees I just paid? They're like, oh, yeah, that was just the application. That was just for the right to film here. Now, if you actually want to film here, you have to pay these fees in 24 hours or we're going to take away your permit.
And so I will be signing a new executive directive that will make it far easier to film in Los Angeles. Movies, television shows, and commercials.
LA's Mayor Karen Bass announced her plan to increase Hollywood productions here. But so far, Wolfe is not impressed.
Her new proposals, I'll be honest, they sound like a lot of lip service to me.
The mayor's directive would streamline processes to film around the greater Los Angeles area and lower fees. She
All
also
right, you can pause it for a second. See, they do this too, where they go, hey, in terms of rebuilding the Palisades and Altadena and Malibu, we're going to streamline the permit process. So good news, right? It's like, I don't know. Why'd you fuck it up in the first place? So why'd you make it so difficult to pull a permit? Why'd you make it the Coastal Commission, all the hoops? Why'd you guys put all that in place in the past? And like, well, we're going to lift it temporarily. And it's like, why does it even exist? The point is way too many people making way too many rules. It's onerous. It's stilting. It stops business. And you want to know, like, what do the film industry and Chevron and State Farm and guys who do big commercial building, what do they all have in common? Well, they have LA City Council, a bunch of fucking yentas making way too many rules, and they can't do business. That's what they all have in common. There's nothing filmmakers have in common with big oil, but they all have to obey their masters, and their masters make it impossible for them to do. And so then they leave, just like Toyota, just like Nissan. They just go somewhere else. The only difference between the film industry and Toyota, Nissan, Chevron, and everyone else is they all leave and they stay out.
Yeah.
Film industry guys, they go to Prague, they shoot for 6 months, save a few bucks, come back to LA, and then campaign for these assholes that are killing LA. That's the difference. Yeah. They come back. Yeah. Samuel L. Jackson comes back and then votes for these people. That's the difference. The guys from Toyota don't come back and vote for these idiots.
Yeah.
All right, that's okay. Karen Bass also has another thing that's pissing me off.
Yeah,
too.
Karen Bass, you're going to be real pissed at Karen Bass. There's LA City says no digital communication exists for the acting mayor during the Palisades fire. So there was no record of Karen Bass communicating with anybody while wildfire scorched a path of destruction through Los Angeles.
She scrubbed it, right? I think she deleted her stuff.
Yeah, exactly. The KTLA tried to get records response, but no response was received.
I have a million thoughts. First off, we got to get more women of color in positions of power so we can avoid all this. Oh, wait a minute. Okay. All right, that's number one.
Wait a minute. What is that?
No, it's not the answer. What I'm saying is we need qualified people of all colors.
Yeah.
The racist part is we go, if we had more women of color in positions of power, they would cure this. No, they fuck up just as badly as everybody else.
Yeah.
Or not.
Yeah.
Or they could be competent.
I learned that in corporate America. And it's a tricky one because,
But if you're just going off skin color and sex, you're going to paint yourself in a corner. You're going to end up with Kamala Harris. I'm saying don't do it. Get competent people. Go with competent.
I thought we were talking about Lorenzo Lamas.
If Biden had tapped Lorenzo Lamas to be vice president, he's a helicopter pilot now. Do you know that?
Lamas?
No, Biden. We're going to tour the Grand Canyon. You coming? We're going tonight. We're going to Catalina. We'll be there in 10 minutes. It'll be awesome.
Yeah.
No, Lorenzo Lamas is a commercial helicopter pilot.
Is he really?
Well, first off, thanks for keeping up.
I mean, I didn't know this. I think
1 minute you're an expert, and now it's like, ew.
No. I mean, I was a Reno Reigns guy. I didn't know. Once that was gone. Okay. I'd go. I'm going today.
He's in Manhattan giving tours.
Is he really? Are you kidding me, man?
There's nothing that guy can't do.
Yeah. I bet. I wonder if he learned on set because there's got to be a situation where that was the only way out, and he jumped in a helicopter.
Yeah, I've shot movies where at some point I had to take control of the helicopter. It happens. Happens to Tom Cruise every movie.
I would go. I wonder if you're allowed to ask him stuff about Renegade when you're in the.
I don't see why else you would fly with him. I would be nothing but Renegade. He'd be like, well, there's the Statue of Liberty. And I'm like, season 3 of that. When Chief Strongfeather tried to... Remember that part where he shot you in the thigh just so you could get away from the biker gang?
Again, this here is where the East River...
I brought a gallon of tap water. Could you just kind of take your shirt off?
I can't.
Well, once we land, come on.
The FAA said that I can't do that anymore.
You're wearing that hair pretty short these days, Lorenzo.
Yeah, I know, but again...
You know what? Screw the Statue of Liberty. I want to see the Badlands. Take me over the Badlands. Do you roam the Badlands in this Huey helicopter?
Sir, you paid to see the island.
I can't hear you with your shirt on.
Staten Island is right over there. And
oh, yeah, but where's the Indian guy? All right. Where else we got? Oh, Karen. Yeah, they deleted.
I don't know.
Yeah, it looks like a cover-up.
Well, did they delete them? I don't know.
Didn't we hear on the news?
Yeah.
I swear I heard some of these emails and communications, text between her and her staff on news programs last month.
Her and the deputy mayor, I think the story was, deleted these things.
Yeah,
but
if there were no communications, then her staff didn't do their job and reach out to her while she was in Ghana saying, hey, by the way, L.A. is burning down.
She deleted shit. The point is that she's as bad as everybody else. That's my whole point.
Yeah.
And she does a lot of stuff where, like, she's walking out to the car and people are like, mayor, and she's like, it's like, hey, bitch, if you're the mayor, sorry, you're going to have to talk. You can't do a talk to the hand thing. Like, there's questions. Everything's burned down. I don't want any elected official doing the no comment. Like, no, it's all comments with you. You run the city.
We had a video where she was sitting still. Like
if someone comes into your home on a Sunday and you're in your bathrobe, then no comment.
Right,
but if you're out during workday, the weekday and work days, and you're doing official business, then you should have to talk to people about things.
During the tragedy this happened?
Yeah, she doesn't talk to any. No, a lot of officials are like, I'm not talking to you. It's like, oh, okay, but you're the mayor and people live in the city and then you got elected and then everything burned down. So I think you should answer questions. How about that? Although, when you delete stuff and you're in Ghana and you fucked up, then maybe you don't want to answer questions, is basically what I'm saying. She's a shitty mayor. We should have got Caruso in there.
I can't speak on
Would have been
Bass.
great. She's horrible. Well, she's incompetent. Kamala's an idiot, though.
No,
that's the
right.
problem.
She was all right.
No, she's not a... Well, then sit down and do an interview. Just sit down. Do long form.
Yeah, there was that, yeah.
Yeah, she's not competent. But it's their fault. They could have got Lorenzo Lamas.
Lamas, yeah.
I would have voted for the ticket, Biden Lamas ticket, I would have voted for.
And Lamas... You can ask him whatever you want, I have a feeling.
Open book. Open book. Yeah. Wearing a three-piece suit with the sleeves missing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Staring down dignitaries from other states. Yeah, by the way, Putin, he would have put him in his fucking place.
Oh, yeah, he would have. Yeah.
Boots. Pull up on a hog. All right, one more half a question. It
still looks good, though, man.
All right.
It's Lorenzo Lamas,
Chopper Pilot looks good.
Did you see... There's footage. There was like Celebrity Circus or Celebrity Stunt Night or whatever, they do those things in the 80s or the 90s or something. Like, he jumped a motorcycle.
Oh, yeah. I remember that.
Yeah. Lorenzo, what can he do?
That's amazing.
Lorenzo
does his own stunts?
Well, in this particular case, that was the show. He's jumping a motorcycle. And I think he made the jump pretty good. When he got off the bike, he ate shit.
Oh, really?
Well, there was something about the ramp that was a little slippery, or he was wearing boots or something. I don't know. There's some
I think
footage.
It was all that water he was pulling off.
Somebody doused himself with a gallon of Sunny D before he hit that ramp. Is that tangerine juice in there?
I'll tell you, and I may not be at liberty to say, there wasn't a whole lot of juice in there.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I try to stay away from stuff that says either drink or punch.
Yeah.
That usually means there's something else in there.
We had Citrus Hill also, which was was orange juice. It was 100% orange juice. And when there was a freeze one time, there was a big meeting, and they were like, "Hey guys, it was a giant salesman. We're gonna have to take the price way up on Citrus Hill because there's an orange freeze." And somebody raised their hand. They're like, "Is this gonna affect the price of Sunny Delight?" And the guy goes, "Yeah, the one orange that we use for all of Sunny Delight."
Well, it was also funny. I used to love the Sunny D commercials because the kids would go into the fridge and they'd be looking, purple stuff, purple stuff, orange juice, Sunny D. But it was a lot like the margarine and the butter. Like the orange juice is orange juice. Sunny D is some sort of synthesized version of it. I never liked it. I thought it was weird.
I would say out of all the products I sold, it was the one I didn't really get involved with.
It
as
tastes
much.
weird. I thought.
Now, until they came out with California Citrus Punch, which was more like Tang.
Really?
Yeah.
Tang.
It was not. It didn't have the fake pulp in it.
Hold on, we cannot find this clip.
Of
well, let's see. What punch it in? Lorenzo Lamas
falling
jumps
down?
motorcycle.
Yeah.
Is that what we're Googling? The thing about Google is sometimes it doesn't exist, but then sometimes we're asking the wrong question.
Yeah.
So you put in Lorenzo Lamas jumps motorcycle TV show or something like that, right? If you do that, it's probably on the internet somewhere because I've seen it before. But people will sometimes they'll get their wires crossed and type in the wrong thing.
Yeah.
Tell me what we're typing in, what comes up, Dawson.
I don't know. I can't read it from here.
We're typing in exactly what you're saying.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, people. I'm looking for it on Reddit because people are asking for it.
Damn right they are.
And nobody. Yeah, it's not. I can't find it.
So somebody scrubbed it. So you Google in Lorenzo Lamas motorcycle jump,
celebrity stunts.
Yeah, nothing.
We're doing it backwards.
Scrubbed.
It's scrubbed because it was probably a Fox show. And again, YouTube, all those big conglomerates go back and wipe their stuff.
Oh, it probably was a Fox show.
I think it was right around the same time they got rid of that Deacon Jones thing. Where they're like,
or maybe the guy who runs the helicopter charter in Manhattan is like, listen, Lorenzo,
my boy doesn't fall down.
We don't like the optics of you eating shit.
My boy didn't fall down.
Yeah. All right. We found a video crashing. Making cracks, battle of network stars. We found another video. Look, any video of Lorenzo
is a good video.
Yeah. I mean, that much we
here's
got.
a nice one.
Oh, it's him riding a bike and battle the network stars.
That could have been you, Carolla.
Could have been me.
pedaling in unison, and yet using the
Oh, Lorenzo.
Lamas and Kennedy off the track.
Oh, man.
You would have been danger close to his onesie.
Oh. All right. David Zucker out there. Legendary David Zucker. Oh, man. Such a fan of that guy. He's waiting in the wings. We'll talk to him. Greg, I'll give you the plugs after the show. Great job.
Thanks, guys. Great seeing you
usual.
Again, man. Yeah. Thanks a lot, man.
Come back for any hot Sunny D, Lorenzo Lamas, what the kids are talking about. You know what I mean? You got to capture them when they're young. You know what I mean?
You get your finger on it.
On the pulse, bro. All right, we'll take a break. We'll be back with David Zucker right after this. Rough greens. Sometimes in life, you want to get to the truth. Well, you got to look at the numbers. Naturopathic Dr. Dennis Black, the creator of Rough Greens, tells us that unfortunately 50% of all dogs over 10 years of age are going to die of cancer. And it's largely due to their diet, and that's where the good doctor comes in. So there's good news. With thousands of testimonials and 5-star reviews, every month, Rough Greens is now the #1 all-natural dog supplement in America. You love your pooch like I love little Philly cheesesteak. He's not so little. You don't have to change his diet because that can be a lot of work. You just improve your dog's food and your dog's health. You just add a scoop of rough greens. I do it with Bill. You need to do it with your mutt, too. It's rough greens, right, Dawson?
Fetch a free Jumpstart trial bag for your dog today. Go to roughgreens.com. Just use promo code ADAM. That's RUFF greens.com and use promo code ADAM and just cover shipping. You don't have to change your dog's food to improve your dog's health. Just add a scoop of Rough Greens. It's time to check Adam's voicemail.
Hey, Ace Man. I don't know if you realize this, but you're the new Huell Hauser with your video logs. Except for you're actually asking questions that people care about. Get it all?
You can leave us a message at 888-634-1744.
Legendary writer and producer and creator David Zucker is in studio. Police Squad, we all know about, one of my favorites, but obviously Airplane, Naked Gun, Basketball, I forgot about. Scary Movie as well, and so many others. Good to see you.
Nice to see you, too.
So I was talking before you came in about how much I love Police Squad, the series, and how funny I thought it was, and even that I went when I was young and rented a VHS cassette of the 8 episodes. I guess it was 8 that ran. I don't...
No, there were 6 of them made.
6.
But only 4 of them ran in the first run because they couldn't cancel it fast enough.
Yeah.
The next 2, it got such low ratings, and this is when there were only 3 networks.
So it's funny how my mind works. My mind works odd, even, odd, even. And so I was like 8 episodes. They only had 8, but it was 6 because it's even.
6.
And they only ran 4. And I wanted that lost episode, so I went and rented the 6.
Yeah, 2 were aired during the summer. The other 2.
Mm-hmm. I told my guys before we got started today, I was like, find the shoe shine guy.
Oh, yeah.
The Johnny the shoe shine guy. I love that. I loved when Tommy Lasorda went and talked. Do we have the Tommy Lasorda one? We'll just watch the shoe shine guy because I love the whole premise of the shoe shine guy.
Who knew everything.
Johnny, I need some information and I need it fast.
You mean about this kidnapped girl, Terry Burton?
What do you know about tuba stores located near gas stations?
Nothing. But they just opened up a new tuba club, and that's near a gas station.
Where is it?
It's called the El Tubadero Club. It's near 5th and National.
Thanks, Johnny.
Tommy Lasorda shows up.
It's my pitching, Johnny. Do you think I need another starter?
How should I know? The rigors of a full season on a 4-man rotation are just too demanding. You need a left-handed swing man to fill your long relief spots. Give him an occasional start, you'll round out your staff nicely.
You're talking about a guy like Gossage, aren't you, Johnny?
Oh, come on, Tommy, use your head. Gossage is right-handed, and besides, he can't throw more than 2 innings. Here's the names of 5 southpaws with career ERAs under 2.93. And you wouldn't have been in this mess if you hadn't given up Tommy John.
I just love the premise. The premise I love the most is actually the guy who's got the info down at the dock who ends up getting money back.
That's right. For the
information.
Money, yeah. And that was in every show, always bribing the
guy. I always loved it. And I was it. So it was just too hip for the room back in, 79 or whenever it came out for ABC?
Well, I think, we were used to doing movies and where people are sitting in seats facing the screen with no distractions and watching a big screen with all our little background stuff. And this is a small screen. People watch TV completely differently, as it turned out. They get distracted. They answer the phone. They're talking to somebody. I was in a room with, I guess, a bunch of people watching one of the shows, and I was shocked at how they were talking, and when they turned to comment on a joke, they missed 2 jokes.
Well, also your stuff, I remember seeing that they do Act 1, and then there's Act 2 Lieber.
Yeah.
And I remember going, What is that? What is that? It took me 10 minutes to do the Octave Liebert thing.
All the Quinn Martin shows had Act 1, Act 2.
Yes, a Quinn Martin production.
Right, like television needed that.
The
Act 1,
streets of San Francisco.
Act 1.
Epilogue.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then everything ended on a freeze frame.
So was everything to you, and I guess to the comedic sensibility and the lens, every time you see something serious as a young person, it starts off this way. You start coming up with the funny version of it.
Right. We would, we liked, the Three Stooges and some of the funny movies that were out. But what we really thought were funny were the serious movies.
Right.
So, it's when, and we start redubbing.
Oh, right.
Just naturally. Like, one guy would say in a tense melodrama, when does the plane land? At, 100 hours.
Right.
And we dub in, where's your hand? It's right here at the end of my wrist.
Right.
And that's how we found 0 Hour, which was the same plot as Airplane.
Right.
And we started first redubbing it, but then we said, why don't we just remake it? And that's how that came about.
Yeah, and the genius of Airplane was no comedic actors per se, all heavies from these action 70s movies, Airport.
Yeah, which made it hard to pitch. We were doing a comedy without comedians.
So they're like, where's Richard Pryor?
Yeah.
And you're like, no, this is different.
Or Chevy Chase, Bill Murray. And in the studio, in their defense, they were really trying to help us. They loved the movie, loved the script, and they wanted to give us big stars, but we didn't want big stars.
Right. Because even stars that were recognizable in comedy. It was for the stuff you guys were doing. I mean, Leslie Nielsen was part of it, but George Kennedy. I mean, people forget that these guys had these long, serious careers before any comedy at all.
A lot of people now don't realize, Leslie Nielsen had a whole 30 years of serious movies.
I think it's surreal for people to watch him play heavies in movies from back then.
And he's completely serious, and we just assumed he had no sense of humor. But, Leslie was the guy who on the set had this fart machine, and he,
notorious for the fart machine.
And Robert Stack, we thought, was humorless. He was just always telling jokes and stories, and he was great.
Yeah. Did you have to tweak their acting at all, really, for comedy?
Well, when people are in comedies, they think they have to be funny. So even Leslie Nielsen put a little spin on it. It was just, you might not notice, but we noticed. And so we actually sent him home with a VHS cassette of 0 Hour. Mm-hmm. And in 0 Hour, if you can look it up on YouTube, 0 Hour Airplane, and they go scene for scene. It's the same thing. So we sent Leslie home with the tape and just say, see this guy who's playing the doctor? Mm-hmm. That's the guy. And so he came back. He had it perfectly.
The sensibility of it.
The sensibility. And then he was completely good. I think Robert Stack knew from the beginning, we were, he was the joke.
Right.
And Peter Graves, when he first read the script, he was disgusted. He threw it across the room, said, this is the worst piece of garbage I've ever read. But fortunately, his wife and his daughter convinced him to do it.
Oh, really? Yeah. What? He just didn't find the funny?
Well,
Peter Graves was Mission Impossible.
I realized later that when actors read a script, they don't read the script. They just read their own parts. And so to Peter, it may have appeared that he was playing a pedophile.
Oh, yeah. I guess you're right.
It was 1980. This kind of stuff had never been done before. And, And the other thing about casting Peter Graves, if it had been Dom DeLuise, oh my God, that joke would have really bombed. I mean, you can't, come onto a kid and be a comedian.
Yeah. Do you like movies about gladiators?
Right.
I always liked when he kept going on at the end. He's like, AAA bonds. I love every part of that. I think it shaped so many people's sensibility.
I hear that all the time. Yeah.
It definitely did. It made an impact. I mean, there are movies that are very good and very funny, and there's Albert Brooks and Woody Allen, stuff like that, but they don't necessarily shape your approach. You just sort of watch it and you like it and it's funny. But I'd say Airplane really had a big impact, and then Naked Gun too, especially.
Right. Well, we wanted to do a movie originally instead of the series Police Squad, but we really didn't know how to write an actual script with a plot and a character who could, have a character arc through 3 acts anyway. So, because in Airplane we just copied 0 Hour, but after Top Secret.
Top Secret. Yeah.
Top Secret, which was
that was really funny too.
Great funny movie. But we found out that audiences really needed to have some kind of a closure at the end of the movie, and it really is important. We had a learning curve through our careers, and
Val Kilmer just passed recently, didn't he?
Yeah, he just passed away, and actually, I had seen him a few times. Since Top Secret. He even lived down the block from me, and we would run into each other from time to time.
I watched his doc. It's a really interesting doc. I don't know if you've seen it, but I recommend all docs, but his doc is really interesting.
I've seen some of it, yeah.
It's interesting, but he seemed very... it's funny because he portrayed Jim Morrison, but he seemed to have a little Jim Morrison in him, but I don't know.
He was a complicated guy. You have to remember, he's Juilliard trained, and he had never done a movie before. So we saw him in a play in New York off Broadway.
Oh, he never did a movie before Top Secret.
No, never did a movie. So we cast him. He was all excited, and he was moody, and we were trying for years. We tried to figure out why he was so moody, and Jim Abrams and I would talk about it, and then after years, we realized, we didn't give him a character. He was really a trained actor, classically trained, and it's
when
terrible.
You say moody.
Yeah.
What do you mean?
Well, he just wasn't happy to be there every day, and took direction okay, but we didn't really break through until one night we were at a party. It was like 3 weeks into shooting. And, we're sitting there, and there's some parts of my personality that kind of mesh with Val, and so but I hadn't really, kind of broken through yet. So I was just sitting there, and I was kind of watching everybody have fun, and I said, I hate everyone. And so he turns to me and says, "Oh, great!" Then he responded to that.
Right. So there's such a thing as being too far up in your own head, but on the other hand, that's what the gift kind of brings, and then you sort of want this Ferrari that's almost like a Ford F-150, like reliable but looks amazing, and it's hard to find both, like in the same person.
He was a very serious actor and he was in some comedies, and I think in his book. He mentions all these movies, and about Top Secret, he says, I still don't know what that movie was about.
Well, he was great in it,
but
and
he was
real funny.
He was wonderful, yeah.
So I was watching the trailer, so the new Top Gun, the new Naked Gun is coming out. And I don't know how it works. I feel like you should have been a part of it, but you probably feel that way as well. But
probably
Hollywood does a lot of that.
I'll tell you,
they're the worst.
That's always when I say that's Hollywood. And Pat Proft and Mike McManus and I had a whole script. We wrote a script on spec for it because we love the franchise, and we were all ready. Pat flew in. He lives in Minneapolis. We had a meeting at Paramount with the brass, and then suddenly I wake up and read Seth MacFarlane had come in and taken it over.
Did he?
With Liam Neeson.
Yeah, I watched a trailer, and the problem that I had with it is Liam Neeson, comes in at the top as a little, schoolgirl or something, and then pulls the thing off, and then is Liam Neeson. And I'm like, well, that's cool, but this isn't Ghostbusters. Like, what is this? Like, you don't have the ability to morph.
Right.
It's like I could see you dressed as a lady and pulling the wig off,
it's all like Leslie did. It's kind of a copy of what we did in the original Naked Gun, where Leslie is the server with all the bad guys sitting around the table.
At the top. He's working with the rogues gallery of terrorists
leaders.
and there's Gorbachev is there, and that's a funny scene. But yes,
that was original and it was it was realistic.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, so this is why I say this kind of comedy, it's all crazy and stupid and wild but it takes discipline.
I'm with you. I want to see. Well, we'll see the trailer. So I'm with you in a weird way where people will say, well, what's realistic about this or that or whatever else? And I'll go, well, it's farcical, it's over the top, and it's broad, but one could dress up in an outfit, pretend to be a server at a rogues gallery of the worst leaders, the most horrible people in the world, hear them talking shit about the United States, and then get fired up and kick some ass. Like, it's a possibility.
Yeah.
This is not a possibility. And then also, if you have the ability to go from a 9-year-old girl to Liam Neeson, then why are we even making a movie? You just do whatever you want.
It completely blows the
reality. I'm with you, but it's weird that when you do comedy, sometimes people just go, just do whatever you want. It's a comedy. And I go, no, we have to live in some gravity somewhere. We have to live somewhere.
It's got to be grounded in reality. And that's why Jim and Jerry and I, in our, 30 years together, we had rules. We had 15 rules.
Yeah. All right. I'll play it for you and we'll just look at it. And so you guys, you didn't own the...
Oh, you're going to show this? Okay.
I wanted to refresh my memory on it. Okay. I'll just talk over it. But it's a little girl comes walking in, and it's a 7-year-old schoolgirl who's also 3 foot tall and 80 pounds, and she licks a lollipop and then pulls her mask off.
Yeah, it's just... And it's not grounded in reality.
But so what it is I don't know what this is, because we can do whatever we want because he's not her. Does Frank Drebin have the ability to morph into other creatures? I guess is the answer. Or could he become a turtle? Or a smoke detector in a room where a secret conversation was going on. But anyway, I sat and I didn't know if you were involved and not involved. I didn't do anything.
No,
I just saw the trailer and I went, you can't do that. You can't do that.
I'm very not involved.
Well, how much of that? Okay. So listen, in terms of the business, this is called a Tuesday. They just do it to everyone all the time. They don't really care who you are. Yeah. I mean, me and Jimmy invented the Man Show, and then at some point we left, and there's we're doing more Man Show. Right. And I'm like, okay, go ahead.
They own the IP.
Right. They just go do Hollywood. It, and then it sucks, but they don't come to you and go, hey, may we, or how about, what do you think? Or none of that. They just, you invent this thing, you create this thing, and then at some point they just take it.
Right.
So that's fine. That's how the business goes.
That's Hollywood, yeah.
But if you wanted a better product, you would probably talk to the people that created it initially because they would have an opinion that might help you.
Yeah, well, I heard that Seth MacFarlane had taken over the franchise. Okay, as we said, that's Hollywood. And so I had my manager called his business partner, tried to get a meeting. He wouldn't meet. So what can I do?
Did I know Seth? He's a nice guy.
Yes,
but
he's
why did he not want to meet just because he thought I don't want to deal with this, or there's liability, or it's going to be uncomfortable?
That's right.
So
he said he wanted to write the script first, but the horses are already out of the barn by the time he wrote the script. And the whole thing, he wanted to replace Leslie Nielsen, and whether that's a good idea or not, we'll see, but that was not what I wanted to do.
You didn't want to... Well, obviously, Leslie Nielsen is gone, so who's going to play that role? Or not?
Their idea, Paramount's idea, is to replace Leslie with another old guy. And our idea, Pat and Mike and I had a thing that wasn't even set in an L.A. cop station. It was going to be Mission Impossible, Bourne Identity, and Bond. And it was going to be the son of Leslie Nielsen, which would have been a 30-something guy.
Right.
You can still have an incompetent 30-something guy. The sense of humor is the same.
Right.
It's just you don't have to get another old guy.
How much of this is your politics, you think? And how has your politics affected the business?
I have no way of telling.
Well, nobody knows.
Yeah, nobody knows.
Hollywood and politics is sort of like radon gas. Like,
Right,
are you
yeah.
being poisoned? I don't know. I'm groggy in the morning.
I have anecdotal information about positive information that Bob Weinstein wanted me to do. He wanted me to direct Scary Movie 5, and he knew my politics. And I know that he didn't agree, but he didn't care. He knew that I was the only one who could direct it. And I didn't want to direct it, but I ended up producing it. And that movie probably finished off the whole spoof genre.
Right. Homes.com. Well, what a site. You love real estate. I love real estate. And I love going to homes.com because there's so much information there. Some might say that homes.com is the best home shopping site. It may be Homes.com's super comprehensive and transparent agent directory, or maybe it's that Homes.com is the only site that always directly connects you with the listing agent who knows the home the best. Perhaps it's because Homes.com has the most in-depth neighborhood content of any home shopping site that's extensively researched to highlight the personality of each neighborhood. Homes.com goes above and beyond to bring home shoppers the in-depth info they need to find the right home. Homes.com. We've done your homework.
Stream all the movies and shows you love for free on Pluto TV. Say what now? Showtime. That means drama is free with heart-wrenching stories from Love and Basketball, Power, and Greenleaf. In this family, we live by the Spirit. And laughter is free with gut-busting comedies like Key and Peele, The Neighborhood, Everybody Hates Chris, and Boomerang. Watch all the hits, all for free, from all your favorite devices. Oh my God, I love it! Feel the free Pluto TV. Stream now, pay never.
There's like three categories of Hollywood politically. There's the sort of Moranos, the undercover people.
Oh, right, yeah.
They're on the set. They're usually working cameras or jibs or driving vans or something, and they quietly go, "Hey, man, I agree with you."
Yeah, I agree.
But then they look around because they're worried that they're going to get punished. Then there are the people that are just, look, we disagree, but you're a good dude and you take care of your family and you're a good director, so who cares? And then there's the ones that need to punish you for your beliefs. Now, at a certain point, when every single thing they said was wrong and or lie, maybe it'll start creeping in that I'm not the insane one when it comes to COVID or Hunter Biden's laptop or Joe's mental ability or any of the myriad of things that you said I was wrong about that I turned out to be right about. Maybe at some point it'll wash over you.
I'm
not
waiting.
Yeah, you can wait. But then there's the punitive people. Like, you're not going to work with this guy. He's not going to work with you.
Right.
The people never stop crying about McCarthyism who want to blackball you. But, you got FU money, which is good.
I have a house.
In a house,
Yeah,
right. That
I'm
didn't
fine.
burn down.
That did not burn down.
But was close.
Yeah, I'm glad yours didn't.
No, I was right in the middle of everything and didn't burn down.
Yeah, it's amazing, yeah.
It was amazing. And when you were coming in here, I said, where does David live? Because he's got to be in there somewhere. Everyone's somewhere in there.
I was 2 blocks south of the evacuation line. So, and we were far enough away.
So you've been in that house for a long time?
Since 2002.
So it's a home and you're keeping it, which is good.
No, I love that. And I didn't have to tear it down. I just kept adding it. They call it the Winchester house. I just keep redoing everything.
You ever buy the lot next to yours?
Oh, well, I'm waiting for the neighbor to die.
Yeah.
Yes.
He's waiting for you to die too. It's a two-way street.
The guy on the north is,
It's so funny. Seth MacFarlane, that's all Seth MacFarlane did. Seth MacFarlane lived in a sort of normal house on top of a hill.
Yeah.
And he literally, as the neighbors around him would go, he would just keep buying their stuff.
Well,
and
good for him.
Putting in amphitheaters and everything else.
Well, I still would like to meet with him and maybe show him my course that I'm doing.
Oh, the course. Sorry,
it's called Master Crash.
Master Crash, a crash course.
And I was
in
motivated
spoof comedy.
To do it because of what happened on Naked Gun 4. So I see that people are doing it who are nice people. The director is a very nice kid. Came to my house twice, and we talked about it.
Who's directing Naked Gun 4? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, Akiva Schaffer.
He's come to your house.
Yeah, he came to my house for a couple of meetings, and we talked about it, and he gave me the script, and they actually wanted me to put my name on it as an executive producer, and they would have paid me a lot of money, but I can't.
That's where the FU money comes in.
I can't. Oh, I'm so glad. Yes.
Yeah. No, I mean you save a few bucks.
I didn't overspend, and I
and
kept myself to one house. Yes.
Right. And one wife?
One wife, yes.
That's the key.
Yeah.
So where do we go? What's our call to action for the comedy course?
Well, if people want to do this spoof comedy, and it is possible for people to do, they just have to know the rules. And there's 15 rules and a glossary of terms that's like 150 terms. And they're mainly things what not to do.
You and I, and it's not sour grapes on your part, and Seth MacFarlane I consider a friend, so I don't have a dog in the fight, but when I saw Liam Neeson crawl out of the body of a 7-year-old, I was like, oh, you broke a rule. You can't do that.
Yeah, and then they show he has funny underwear. And Pat Proft called me and said, we never made Leslie into a clown.
Mm-hmm.
We always kept him straight.
So it is circling back. It's interesting that there are definite rules.
Oh yeah.
And people think there are no rules or no gravity,
people
but
think,
there
hey,
is.
just anything goes. And so I wish I could have sat down with Seth or with Akiva before they started writing the script. I could have. But helped.
The problem with the rules is they're not always linear. Like if you think back to Smoking the Bandit, and at a certain point, Burt Reynolds does like a Brody in his Trans Am, sits there for a second, and then slowly turns and looks at the camera. And like smiles, and then drives off, and you'd kind of go, "Well, hold on, you're not allowed to look," But
you
it
are. It sometimes works. We've done it too.
I know, but it's just you would think it would be a rule breaker, but it's not.
No, we have the 15th rule is there are no rules. So that's. I mean, you just have to have some perspective about it, and
mastercrash.com is where you go.
Right.
By the way.
And it'll be opening in July. We'll be releasing it in July. It's still being edited now.
We have a clip of you doing our documentary, the Mad Magazine.
Oh, I don't think I've ever seen that.
Yeah, I think is it called When the World Went Mad? We're gonna figure out the title of it. Probably should be up here, but we'll take a look at it. It's you
I have no recollection.
Oh, that's the beauty of our life. Yes. You have no recollection of it.
Well, I thought it was just because I'm elderly.
No, I mean, it is, but it's also when we went mad. Yeah. Okay. It's also doing tons of different things over a large span of time.
Yeah.
All right, so we'll play it.
Okay.
Mad was saying, yeah, movies are stupid. And that was great. That was a revelation. You could make fun of movies.
They did takeoffs on the Lone Ranger. And Tarzan. And it worked. People thought the stuff was hilarious.
Mad just pointed it out for us. We don't have to take this seriously.
This woman has to be gotten to a hospital.
A hospital? What is it?
It's a big building with patients, but that's not important right now.
They figured out how can we take a Mad Magazine spoof and make it work from beginning to end as a motion picture.
There's a scene with Leslie Nielsen and Peter Graves.
Captain, how soon can you land?
I can't tell.
You can tell me. I'm a doctor.
that's right out of Mad. I mean, not that those guys wrote it, but could have been something that they would have written.
There he is. One of the many things you've forgotten about over the years.
Has this been released yet?
No, it's coming.
Okay.
It's coming soon.
I want to see it. I look great.
Yeah. Oh, it's coming out June 24th.
Okay.
All right.
Good, yes.
That's good. Yeah, you look fantastic.
Thank you, yes.
So for you, are you getting up and writing on a daily basis?
Pat and Mike and I completed a script called The Star of Malta. It's a film noir, black and white movie. And, we used, have you ever heard of the movie Detour?
Mm-hmm.
Classic film noir, but it only had 2 acts. I think they may have run out of money.
Mm-hmm.
And so we used Hamburger Helper and made a whole script out of it. And we're hoping to start casting it soon.
Oh, really?
Yeah, we're getting the money together, and
how much money might it cost?
It's like $11 million. It's 10 cents. Yeah.
What is $11 million considered these days? Because you can make movies on the cheap now.
Well, a lot of things we can use. We could do on an LED screen, and because we're doing it as if it was made in 1949, we can do outdoor movies in the rain on a studio set, and it's okay if it looks like a set.
Right. Oh, because
it's black and white. It's 1949.
What are some of your favorites in the comedy department? Let's say over the years, excluding all the great stuff you guys have done.
Oh well, we loved the Marx Brothers, Woody Allen.
Which Woody Allen?
The Bananas, Annie Hall, to all the funny movies that he did before he
I think Love and Death is funnier than Bananas.
That's good. No, I like that. I haven't seen it in a while.
Love and Death is his joke for joke funniest movie.
And we used to wait the year that it took for him to do a new movie, and we couldn't wait to see the next Woody Allen
and
movie.
Take the money and run.
Yeah.
I think Sleeper and Bananas got the credit, but actually Love and Death was actually funnier than those
You
two.
may be right. I'll have to go back and see that.
Yeah, it's everything about it. There's a joke every 10 seconds, and it's all good.
Yeah, and he was great, and that was inspired. But as I say, we were probably more inspired by serious movies. Like one time we were watching the Corsican Brothers and just laughing hysterically all the way through, and putting in our own lines, and movies like Zero Hour, but the Marx Brothers made us laugh, and today it's the Impractical Jokers.
Oh yeah,
yeah. I think they're just hilarious. They really make me laugh.
Yeah, it's interesting,
but they don't do spoof. Although they all say that they were influenced, I don't see how. But
look, I think people could be inspired by Michael Jordan and not play basketball. They could play another sport.
But
they could still be inspired by Michael Jordan.
Yes, Stone and Parker say they were. They may be influenced, maybe inspired, but by us and Monty Python. So, but I don't see it. It's like seeing the the resemblance of a close relative.
I didn't get Monty Python for a long time. It took me a while. I thought it was weird when I was younger, but
the TV shows were better than the movies.
Yeah, I just didn't vibe on it. Later on I liked Life of Brian and all those movies, but at the beginning I just didn't vibe on it. I thought it was weird.
The trouble with the Monty Python movies was they didn't have a clear 3-act structure or a character that you could, it was like, it was a collection of sketches, which were really funny. And that's why I think I like the TV series the best.
Yeah, I'm with you. It's like I needed some connective tissue or something,
to
or
sit
direction.
Through a whole movie, you need it.
Yeah,
but they do these brilliant, the Ministry of Silly Walks.
Right.
That's inspired.
Like I said, like when they go like, I want to return this parrot. It's dead. That parrot's not dead. Like I remember kind of going, it's dead, or I don't know why. It's absurd.
Yeah,
but I don't find it funny. I just find it absurd.
Yeah, well, that's another one of our rules is merely clever. you have to get a laugh, you have to go beyond something that's just merely clever.
Yeah, I agree. But you know, it's funny. I would watch Benny Hill.
Yeah.
And I didn't think he was a genius or anything, but I've somehow, it was more practical or linear or something for me.
I once met Benny Hill. And I have my picture taken with me and Benny Hill. I'll send it to you with my autograph.
I did some reading up on him.
Oh, yeah?
And it just felt sad.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I mean, Benny Hill was this huge comic star of England, or at least very successful television guy. Had a show called The Benny Hill Show. And it was, you know, exported here. Like, I mean, when Jimmy and I were working on The Man Show, or we're sort of conceiving The Man Show, we're sort of like, it's going to be like Benny Hill, sort of like more of a modern take on a Benny Hill type thing. You know, girls and boobies and
there was
stuff. And his bio, I remember thinking, like, what happened to Benny Hill or something?
I never read his bio.
You can look up Benny Hill, but Benny Hill was a big part of like a young man's childhood.
And all I can think of is in fast motion, he's chasing a lot of girls, scantily clad women. And,
with the I don't know, whackety sax or clackety sax or whatever playing.
Yeah.
But in my mind, as a young man, this guy was like the king of England. Like, he's Benny Hill. And it was called, and they'd go, yes, it's the Benny Hill Show, and the music and everything. And everyone he'd have a live audience, and they all seemed to like him and stuff. And then when I was reading about him, it's like, well, he never married, died alone, died at 53 in his apartment flat in London or something. Like, it just felt kind of...
Yeah, well, that's where I was headed before I got married.
Oh, yeah?
Yes.
Dying alone in London?
Dying alone in a flat somewhere. And
he had
hopefully Brentwood.
Never married, no children. And he proposed to 3 women, but none accepted. But he was a big comedy star in England.
You'd think that would have carried the day.
Enough.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. They could overlook the appearance maybe and go for he's famous and
he's
important.
Got money. Yeah.
I know.
And he died young, and he just died alone and had no kids. And by the time he died, probably no one cared about Benny Hill. And it just felt very sad.
I'm glad you've told me about this, because I was kind of happy before this about him. Yeah.
You were thinking fondly?
I was thinking, yeah, great. I could be like Benny Hill.
When did Benny Hill die? How old was he? And what was that story? I remember, I don't know, you know, that's the beauty of somewhere between the internet, my mind, and a delayed flight at an airport, me just going, what the hell happened to Benny Hill?
Shortly after I met him, I bet he died.
Died in 92.
Yeah.
Died at 68, which is young by today's standards. Had a heart attack. And also by 92, I don't think anyone cared that it was Benny Hill living in England. But he was definitely a sort of toast of the town. He had some juice for a while. And nobody cared, and he died alone in his apartment of a heart attack.
Yeah, well, if he had the rules, the story may have been different.
His estate was probated. Is that $7 million? At 19 million, he had 19, almost
pounds?
20 million pounds or $20 million or whatever. Or pounds would be like, I don't know, $23 million or something. Rumored circulating that he was gay, but he always denied it. But it was just kind of a little weird that he just sort of died alone. And been buried in a large amount of gold jewelry. Grave robbers exhumed and broke open his coffin.
Oh, no, this is like Lincoln.
It's getting worse and worse by the day. Wait a minute. Who's got the Davy Crockett stuff?
I do.
I
have a huge collection, which I am now donating to the Alamo Museum.
You are?
Yeah.
I'm glad it jumped into my mind, because normally when I get in front of people and I yell, who's got the Davy Crockett stuff, people just look back at me and go, how do I know? But you do.
I have
it jumped in my mind that
4
you have the
letters that he wrote. And,
yeah.
I have the Davy Crockett, the last letter he wrote, which was, "Tomorrow I leave for Texas." So,
wow.
Yeah, and they're going to put that in a big display.
Before the Alamo, his last letter.
Yeah, his last letter. That's the last letter he wrote.
People think I'm weird for collecting Paul Newman race cars, But Davy Crockett stuff, maybe even a little deeper.
It's it's well into the weeds. But I was into Davy Crockett from the time I was 10 years old. I mean, that was the Crockett craze. But I never had a coonskin cap.
Crockett,
Yeah, we had the
King
song
of the Wild Frontier.
I know. Yeah.
Was that Fess Parker or was that Daniel Boone?
Fess Parker.
Was he Davy Crockett?
And Daniel Boone.
Oh, he was both?
Yeah, he was both. Yeah. Then he played Daniel Boone because they figured Davy Crockett was killed in the Alamo, and Daniel Boone actually lived till age 80 or something.
So is stuff's going, you're donating it to the museum?
I'm donating it to the museum, yeah.
Where's the museum going to be? Texas?
It's at the Alamo. They
makes
used
sense.
to have just the Alamo and like a kind of a cheesy gift shop.
Uh-huh.
And now they're doing a huge, renovation and they're building world-class museum with a curator. So
Oh, really?
I figured there was never any place to donate it to before.
Were you guys, I mean, everyone met early. Was it Kentucky Fried Theater?
We
where you
did
guys
Kentucky
met?
Fried Theater in Madison in 1971.
Wisconsin?
In Wisconsin. And then we moved the show out to L.A., opened a show on Pico Boulevard. The
How old
building
were
was
you?
there. I was 24.
Were you, discouraged from doing comedy? Was your parents traditional?
No,
Were
actually, they were very supportive, although when we left, Jerry and I drove out of the driveway. We were, going to L.A., and they said they cried on the driveway, but they were comforted by the fact that they really felt that we'd be back in 6 months.
Right, wasn't going to work out.
Yeah, but nobody from Milwaukee becomes a Hollywood movie director or does any of this stuff. So, but we were very headstrong. And we didn't know the odds, and we were completely naive. So we thought, why not? We could do this.
And we're always funny, like in junior high, high school, always cracking jokes.
I was, and Jerry was, and Jim was, but we weren't the funniest kids in the class. There were other kids who were funnier than we were, but they were able to find jobs when they graduated.
Because you guys weren't performers per se?
Yeah, we weren't performers. We were just, I could break up the class with jokes, but, I wasn't a performer. I was never in a school play.
Right. So it's interesting that
I'm a very much behind the scenes human.
Yeah. So it doesn't really get you the mantle of class clown if you're writing stuff and sort of behind the scenes.
And but in high school I was not the class clown. I mean, I was a class clown, but not a standout.
Yeah. You want to know who was class clown?
You?
This guy, right?
Really?
Yeah.
I would love to meet you.
Yeah, you would have loved me back then.
I would have loved, that guy. Yeah, what happened? Yeah.
The weight of the world, man.
Yeah, well, you were trapped.
First off, I found out what happened to Benny Hill.
Oh, that's right. So you said, I'm not doing that.
That changed my whole worldview.
Good move. But
real
so
fast.
What kind of things did you do in class?
I never did a play or any kind of performance at all. I was a jock. That's a picture of me as a class clown from 1981. Wow. I was essentially a jock, but they would do things like during the quad, the senior whatever, they'd have events and pie eating contests and guys rock bands, like the lunchtime entertainment or something.
This is locally somewhere in LA.
This is North Hollywood High.
North Hollywood High.
And like Mrs. Tani would hand me the bullhorn and go all right, get people gathered up here, they got a band, they're going to play in 15 minutes. And she'd give me the bullhorn and I would just start going off in the bullhorn,
Yeah.
And
improv.
Yeah, I would start improvising into this bullhorn. And then they did the Powder Puff night where the girls played football and the boys were cheerleaders.
Oh.
And I was like, I'll be the head cheerleader. And I was like the head cheerleader. And they gave you a microphone and you got the whole stand.
And you could dress up as a cheerleader.
I dressed as a cheerleader. And then, but more importantly, I got a microphone and a PA system, and there was a football stands were filled
and you had
with
an
500 people,
and
they couldn't go anywhere.
Right.
So I just started laying it out that way. And then I got, so people are like, oh, that guy's the funny guy. But I was a jock. And then when I got out of high school, I just walked on a construction site and just dug ditches. So it wasn't. It was like I had this little fleeting moment of being the class clown. But as soon as I was done being the class clown, they just handed me a shovel and I just got in a ditch.
Yeah,
there's no more talking.
It's interesting how we all have different routes into the business.
Yeah, but it stuck with me. I was like, well, I'd like to not be digging ditches.
Yeah.
I'd like to be talking.
And so how did you finally get a show?
I went to a woman who lived up in the hills, and she was Jewish, and her husband composed for the Oscars and stuff as a musician, music director.
Yeah.
Anyway, they were in the arts, basically. And so I knew that wasn't my friends from the valley, the poor parents, the mom worked as a cocktail waitress and stuff, but she knew Judy Chaikin knew the arts a little bit. Yeah. So like I went up to her and I said, where would somebody go to like learn comedy or do comedy like around here, And she said, go to the Groundlings.
Oh, yeah. Perfect. And we donated our air conditioning unit of Kentucky Ride Theater to the Groundlings.
Oh, you did?
Yeah.
What year was it?
Must have been 77, something
when you
like that.
Dismantled
Yeah, when we dismantled the theater. Yeah.
Yeah, so several years later, I went down there and I was like, what goes on here? And they said, well, just go watch a show on a Friday night or Saturday night. Go sit in the audience.
Yeah.
And I watched the show, and I was like, "Oh yeah,
you could do that."
Yeah,
was that with Archie Hahn at the time?
I don't know. There's so many people passed through there.
Yeah.
The time I was there, lots of people you've heard of as well.
Right.
And so I remember going, "Oh, this seems interesting." I think I can do it, but B, it's fascinating. I would like to be a part of this.
Yeah.
So I just went and signed up for a class.
And you did improv on the stage there?
I did improv my whole for a decade before I got into radio.
I never did that. I mean, we had an improvisational segment in Kentucky Fried Theater, but it was done by just two of the people in the troupe who were really good at it. And Jim and Jerry and I just, I
was good at the improv. Yeah. I wasn't good at the scripted stuff.
Oh yeah.
So our character
because you can think on your feet.
I took to the group improv very well, and I was very good at it. But there's no business called group improv.
Right.
I mean, there's no tickets. There's no sales. There's no road. You'd have to do stand up or get in a sitcom back then.
Yeah,
and
stand up is another. The whole Comedy Store, and that's how we met Pat Proft. We would go to the Comedy Store just to have an entertainment, and Pat Proft was great.
Yeah, I didn't really have a place to go. Like I did improv, and I was pretty good at it, but there was no payday. There was no way to make money. But you also did a
stand-up, didn't you?
I did little bits and pieces just because I figured, well, this is a job. Maybe you could do this. But I just didn't take to it like group improv. So the thing I took to didn't pay, and the stuff that paid, I didn't really take to it that well,
Right.
So then I just kind of drifted around trying to figure out what I was going to do. And eventually, I always liked radio. So at some point when I got into radio, I was like, oh, okay, now this is what I'm supposed to do.
Right.
Because that was like improv, but sitting down.
Yeah, and you saw that Benny Hill was a big success, so you figured I could do that.
Yes, it's the Benny Hill Show.
Yeah.
All right, let me give you a plug. Mastercrash.com.
Yes.
Is where we go.
Being released in July.
And then when's the movies? What
Well, we're trying to get onto the set for Star of Malta in October. So who knows when it'll be released, but
And you can check out the stand-up special, The Champ, Greg Warren's news special as well. That's on YouTube. Go to AdamCarolla.com for all the live shows. This Saturday, I'll be in Bellflower. First show sold out. Still tickets available for the second show. Just go to AdamCarolla.com for all the live shows. Until next time, it's Adam for David and Greg and Mayhem saying mahalo.